Yeah, she's calling back. We're going to try to give her a call again, and then she just added another phone number to the 13-year-old grandson who's possibly with the daughter. Step out with this.
2412.
Veteran crisis hotline's calling in, so they have a female veteran's off her medication. She's over at the safe haven. Detective 12, we'll check that one out.
6 Rumble, 2 1 star, take your shots.
Also still stands for talk? No. Offender in custody? Thanks. Anyone else close, might just zero something, let me know. First number. 10-4. Also still stands for talk? No. Offender in custody? Thanks. Anyone else close, might just zero something, let me know. 10-5,
3-3. Can you let us supervisor know that I have location for us attached?
1830.
Yeah, possible here in Wilson.
First number.
10-4.
And where's the 47 folks? I'm sorry, we're not here. Try that one more time, puppy. 847 Fulton. 847 Fulton, okay. First security partner of the Defibrillator versus domestic battery at 15 North Winchester, 1.5 for Winchester. Danny stated the caller and the owner of the vehicle
All right, let's get that music turned down. And thank you, everybody, for hopping in. There we go. Hopefully it's okay here.
Try.
Got to move that down a little bit, maybe. So sorry about the delay. Sorry about pushing it back. Was having some issues trying to get all this stuff to work right. So it's a temporary thing. But I'm glad it's working. Can you guys hear me okay? Can you hear me okay, Audrey? Hello? Yeah. Okay. Just making sure. I don't know. This is
yes. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes. This is a whole new setup, so I apologize. Man, haven't been able to really do a live show until now, since the trip. It was a crazy trip. And then as soon as we got here, the protest here in Myrtle Beach, and then I've been getting into the Johnny Jacobs stuff. Been busy with that, but there's been so much that has come out with this. Remember, right as I was getting ready to go out on my trip here, that's when the 911 call dropped, and I really didn't have a chance to talk about it. I know you guys were even wanting me to talk about it on the road show, and I just had to wait. But we'll be discussing some of that tonight, plus a whole bunch of other stuff. I mean, gosh, you go to the docket and you see all the new documents, and you're just like, wow, where do I start, you know? Yoli, it's a bunch of numbers, yeah. And thank you. It's a bunch of numbers.
Well, I'm glad you're able to get internet going.
Uh-oh. Oh, you got who? You? Is everything okay? I wonder if there's a delay.
Yeah. I think there might be a delay.
A little delay? Okay. So I apologize if we interrupt each other. Maybe try backing out and coming back in, see if that fixes it. I know StreamYard's been buggy lately. See if that works real quick. Yeah. That might be the problem. A lot of other stuff, though. The text messages, the photos to certain mama. You know, you got a lot of the booms and the ahs, the oohs, the co-burger cooked. Just because I'm just gonna be honest right now. I hope I don't get linked to a crime because I bought a weapon. and it's like Yoli says. I know Yoli's in chat. Shout out Yoli. It's like Yoli says, the sheath didn't commit the crime necessarily. We don't know. We know the sheath didn't commit it, but it's interesting though. The selfie, you know, the selfie, because somebody took a selfie that looks kind of creepy. But I don't know. I don't know if it's necessarily creepy. It's kind of like, and shout out to Rosie. If you haven't checked out this episode, this is when we did the episode 1. We'll be having episode 2, I think, Monday next week. That's when we even had the discussion. Anybody could make anybody look like a monster. So, of course, you can go. Now, look, there's 2 ways you can look at this photo. There's a way that you can look at it and go, man, that's creepy. But at the same time, you can look at it and go, hey, maybe he was going out on a date, wanted to look nice. Somebody, a friend, a family member, who knows? You know, maybe a friend or family member was like, hey, let me see what you look like, snazzy guy tonight, going on a date for the first time in a long time, you know. gives the thumbs up. You know, I mean, who knows? To me, it looks like a dude that I don't know, doesn't look creepy or angry or anything. Looks like, hey, I'm chill, and you know, I look like I'm gonna have a good time. I got a silky shirt on. You don't wear a silk shirt for nothing, Audrey. When you're out there wearing the silk shirt, I mean, that's like letting your wings fly, you know? That's like letting them fly. Hey, you got to love the silk shirts when you're going to the clubs. I'm just saying. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if that you can look at it a couple different ways. Before we get into the show tonight, and what did you think about the photo, Audrey? In here, I'll show it. Did you think it was anything kind of creepy or anything? I mean,
Not at all. I thought it was another stretch that the state is trying to convince everybody of. It looks like a completely normal, fine picture to me.
well, you know what looks, I don't know. I mean, yeah, it looks like a normal picture, dude. Hey, why is the top button buttoned? I don't know. Maybe it's before you were putting on a tie. I never wore a shirt with the top button buttoned. I always let them wings fly, you know. We always had that. I was when I went out.
Yeah.
See, I'm a 70s baby, so when I went out, I would take a regular collared shirt like that right there, and I would iron it so that my collar, the parts of that collar was flat to the shirt, and it kind of winged out a little bit, you know. That's how I always, you know, ironed my shirts when I was going out, you know. Night on the town, you know, we get the iron out. We got to get it all nice and ironed up. We get the collars nice and flat and winging, you know. I don't know. It's just my own thing. So
yeah, you were meaning business.
You know, you're night on the town, you know. Stray cats. But see, like with this, I mean, to me, it looks like maybe he was he was going out or something. But I don't know. I mean, anybody, look, it could look creepy too, because who knows? It could be two things. It could be him getting ready to go out on a hot date, or it could be him throwing a thumbs up right after he got out of the shower and is like, yep, job completed. I mean, we don't know. It could mean job completed too. Hey, we don't know. We weren't there, but I don't know. You could look. You can look at it two ways, really. But we're going to talk about the 911, the text messages. What did you think about DM adding a contact at 3 a.m? You know what I'm saying? What did you think about that?
That is very odd.
Right in the middle of it.
All the odd things. This is another one. Yeah. But what did she do it? Like, that she doesn't occur to her that people are fighting, and she's more concerned with putting somebody's phone number in her phone.
I don't know. It's crazy. You text Eric. You know, you text Eric at shortly after 2, asking him if he's driving, and he says yeah, and then there's nothing after that. What was that about, right? You didn't even say, hey, can I get some Taco Bell too? It was just like, hey, you out driving? Yeah, I'm out driving. A couple minutes later. What did you think about Bethany sending photos? Taking photos?
There's no sense of urgency there. The photos? I just don't think there was any urgency there, which doesn't go along with what the state was saying.
Well, why would Bethany take photos?
What shock phase? She's getting numbers.
Yeah.
Oh, and why I didn't hear about the photos.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Bethany took photos. and sent him to mama. I mean, this is why, you know, oh, sorry, the delay must be really, uh-oh. Go ahead.
Do we think that the photos were of the crime scene?
I don't know. It doesn't have them in there.
I don't know either.
It doesn't have them in there. It doesn't have them included. I'm sure. I mean, I don't know what they could be of. You know what I mean? One of the biggest questions I always have, and I have since March of 2023, is what is this experience that is exclusive to Bethany only, cannot be experienced by the other living roommate, and is exculpatory for Brian Koberger? That's what I continue to wonder, because I keep wondering different things, and then all of a sudden all these other things pop up. So then you have to ask, what is these photos? What could they be? You know, there's a reason that
Yeah,
Bethany,
something she said in her.
Go ahead.
It must have been something she said in her police interviews, or something she saw. So whatever she saw, I think, goes against whatever the state's theory is. But I don't know what that could be.
I mean, it makes you wonder what the pictures are. We know she fled to Arizona, and family lawyered up real quick and wouldn't even let the defense come down and talk to her. She doesn't want nothing to do with even getting on the witness stand, but we both know that they're going to be witnesses for the trial. And it's like I said, I always feel and have felt that Brett Payne and the two surviving witnesses are going to be scapegoats when it comes to BK getting off. It's already been pre-planned.
Oh, that's a very good theory. I didn't think of that. I mean, they are throwing these roommates under the bus a little bit, and so that would make sense that they're like, if Brian gets off, they do need that scapegoat, and they're setting up these roommates very well for that.
Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah, because they just needed, exactly, to know. They just needed. So it's why I always said from the beginning, they just went with the tip, because they just needed somebody arrested and charged for the crime before the new semester started. That was the only hurdle they had to jump, and they barely jumped it. And when you look at how they've gone into a lot of these court cases up there, and they're charging these people with these humongous charges, most of them take plea deals. The ones that do get off, the prosecution's like, well, we're sorry that the jury didn't agree, but we feel that the person committed the crime, and we're not going to pursue any further suspects or anything like that. They don't care. That's why Brett Payne was thrown in to be the lead, because number one, hey, that's going to be, remember, he was always talked about being the go-getter, the guy that was, the little pit bull, always, ready to do this and do that. And you take somebody with that much motivation that has blinders on, it's so easy. It's like, yeah, go ahead and run in there with the wolves, buddy. We're going to watch you run around and have fun for a while, and you're not even going to know what's going to happen. I've always felt like, even in the court hearings in the beginning of 2023, it's like they expected things to materialize because they just took the tip, and nothing really materialized that much. And so it was these things, you know, as you're looking at the witness statements from the beginning, you know, when it came to the PCA release, you know, a few months after the crime took place, and then you're starting to read the statements, you know, the whole clad in black and frozen shock phase terms, nobody ever says that about themselves, and that's obvious from the beginning. So that was like counselor talk. So you could tell, you know, as these things are starting to get released and these different statements are really, you know, when you're looking at what was put in the PCA and then you're looking at what has been unsealed, you know, and given to the public, you're sitting there looking at the statements going, wait a minute, like you can see that they are kind of throwing them under the bus. You know what? I wouldn't want to, if I was the two roommates and like DM, my statements were all over the place and I was heavily intoxicated, didn't know if it was a dream or not. You know, you got Bethany that, quote, we think doesn't know anything, but now we find out she was taking photos. Like, we don't, it's so weird. So it's like, you sit back and you're like, man, it's just a mess. It's just a mess. But you're looking at all this stuff and it doesn't.
That she took these photos?
It's in the it shows it in the message. We'll go through the documents here. I got a list of them that
Do you
we're
have
going to
them?
go through.
I heard earlier that they were taken off the site, but I don't know if that's true or not. I haven't looked for them.
Really?
Do you have them?
I mean, I have the links. Yeah, I have the links. I mean, I hope they still work. I've had it up on my computer.
I hope they can take them down. That was a rumor. I haven't confirmed it. I was just curious. Let's see. I'll bring the page up. Do you know what the title was?
Shoot, no. There's so many documents that have been put out as I can't even remember. We'll go through them here. Okay. I think it's let me see. I want to get through. Yeah, they're still up. Thank you, Caddy. Okay, Caddy, check. They're still up.
Good. Thank you.
So I'm going to go through the 911 call first. We're going to go through the transcript, and then I'm going to go through the full text messages document. And then that has BF with the photos. It's got DM adding a contact. It's got all that stuff. You sent it to me? Okay. Yeah, the link should work, and thank you for sending the links. Appreciate it. All right, so I want to talk about the 911 call first. Now, when you first heard the 911 call, Audrey, what did you think?
Well, I was concerned about the things that I was hearing in the background, and I also noticed that there's some areas where it sounds like it's a wind tunnel, and I figured that out because there is that part where I guess it's Bethany or someone who's providing her phone number, and that is also redacted in the transcript that we received. And there is another part in there where that same sound where they redact that on the audio, it's later on. So, and I do notice that there are differences and there's things that are missing. And so I don't know if we have the full audio or transcript of these 911 calls. What did you think?
I think we do. I think we do.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we do. Actually, 4 News Now dropped it before anybody else discussed it, or dropped it. So it was 4 News Now. Shout out 4 News Now, because we actually had it right when it dropped as well. So shout out 4 News Now. I thought it was the full 911 call. When it came to the 911 call, I thought it was kind of fake, honestly. I didn't. I don't know. It didn't seem legitimate. It didn't seem. I didn't hear. You know, when some people speak and there's emotion behind their words, because you're speaking with emotion, right? So you have emotion in your lungs and in your breath, and emotion, you can feel it. And when I'm listening to that 911 call, I didn't feel emotion. I felt,
Yeah.
I felt scattered, rehearsed, you know. I don't know.
That's what I said. Badly rehearsed. Badly rehearsed. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, and then we heard, it's like I've said about the whole fraternity and sorority stuff with the links with the college and how they make money, you know, for each other. There's a lot of the volunteer programs. They handle their own. They kind of monitor their own. You know, what volunteer wants to turn in their own frat or sorority member when it would look bad on their frat or sorority, and their frat or sorority could get suspended, and you look like a snitch and all these other things. So, you know, they all had their own like investment, you know what I'm saying, and making sure everything was kosher. You know, we heard a couple days ago from a particular channel that somebody had talked to Sigma Chi a couple days ago, and how they didn't know until after the 911 call and such. And it's like, when you go back to the interview of the president, and he's just looking down on his phone and looking over to the sides and looking down at his phone, not wanting to say nothing. You know, we showed you the stuff we showed you in the end of 2023, after we were digging into the university and all the connections, and then you come to find out that all of a sudden there's a bunch of text messages and stuff going on. So to say that nobody knew before 911 called, that's just bullshit, and that just shows that it was bullshit when somebody talked to them a couple days ago and they obviously got lied to. Because now we know that other people know, and when other people know, it gets spread, and it's just like everything that we've always said from the very beginning. So it's kind of interesting about, you know, how there's certain narratives that are getting pushed, and how gullible some people really truly are when it comes to probabilities. And I want to say thank you to Yoli real quick, because she said, I love your background, this background right here. I always talk about an analytical mind. It's always percentages and all that. So that's why you got all these numbers flipping around in the background, because that's what it is. It's just analytics and probabilities with anything that we're discussing, you know. So I want to get to this 911 call. I felt like it was, yeah, it wasn't, I didn't feel emotion, which I would have felt. So it's interesting to hear that you felt the same way. Let me know in chat real quick. We're going to go ahead and play it. I'm going to pause the music. We'll go ahead and play it. Let me know if, number one, put one in chat if you think it wasn't real, no emotion. Number two in chat if you think it was legitimate and people were freaked out, because I didn't hear freak out in that. And thank you all for being here. All right, here we go.
Anyone else close by 50 let me know.
11:55 a.m. 42 seconds, November 13, 2022.
911 location of your emergency.
Hi, something is happening. Something's happening in our house. We don't know what.
What is the address of the emergency?
1122.
What is the rest of the address?
Oh, King Road.
Okay. And is that a house or an apartment?
It's a house.
Can you repeat the address to make sure that I have it right?
I'll talk to you guys. We live at the White, so we're next to them.
I need someone to repeat the address for verification.
The address, 1122 King Road.
And what's the phone number that you're calling from?
What's your phone number?
And tell me exactly what's going on.
All right, I'm gonna pause it right there. Is that where you think it might have been edited? This part right here, where it kind of sounds like a wind tunnel. That part.
Yeah, whenever she's giving her numbers, that sounds about right.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, it could. It could.
That's it. Yeah.
We don't know. We don't know for sure. What's up, everybody? Thank you for hopping in. I do want to say contribution call out real quick. Kib Kitty, great work as always. 21 months. Damn, it's longer than that, though. I know that. And Bo Rivers became a YouTube member. Thank you very much for being a member and for all your support. I just dropped some members only stuff. Actually, I put one out for everybody today that was members live the day before, but there's a really special video when it comes to the Johnny Jacobs stuff. If you're a member, I just dropped that a couple hours ago. It's raw HD footage for you to check out. Thank you for being a member. Appreciate it very much. There's plenty of members only stuff for all of this. By the way, if you are a member, here is the link to the first time that I ever showed up to 1122. I'll drop that in there. That's also raw video as well. All right, we'll get back to this call. Thank you for being here.
One of the roommates has passed out, and she was drunk last night and she's not waking up.
Okay.
Oh, and they saw some man in their house last night. Yeah. Sorry,
and are you with the patient? Okay, I need someone to keep the phone. Stop passing it around.
Can I just tell you what happened pretty much?
What is going on currently? Is someone passed out right now?
I don't really know, but pretty much at 4 a.m.
Okay, I need to know what's going on right now if someone is passed out. Can you find that out?
Yeah, I'll come. Come on, we gotta go check.
See, I'm not hearing emotion, especially. Oh, yeah. And one of them saw somebody walking in their place last night. Like, I don't hear. I don't hear what I hear. Maybe at
they're
first
more concerned about telling what happened last night.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, they're more concerned with telling what happened last night and what happened at 4 a.m. and they're not speaking about the present moment, which I think is odd too.
Yeah, it's like somebody right in the beginning, like when you hear the 911 call, that's just, hey, you better call 911 after how many hours, right? You're waiting for somebody to tell you to call 911. So the whole no. It's almost like you knew something bad and you didn't want people to go in there and you didn't want to say it yourself. The more that you listen to it, it's, when they're telling people not to.
Exactly.
Like they know something
like
really
guilty
bad.
Knowledge. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then you hear these other people talking, you know, it's like, oh yeah, like I almost forgot. They said that somebody was walking in their house last night too. Like, it just, I don't know. It seems off. It seems off.
And tell me exactly what's going on.
One of the roommates has passed out, and she was drunk last night and she's not waking up.
Exactly, KB.
Okay.
Oh, and they saw some man in their house last night.
Oh.
Yeah. I just,
You see what I'm saying? Oh, and exactly, KB. Like, you need more transparency with this call, with this stuff, not edited version. Exactly. But that oh, I almost forgot. How could you forget? Something just
Yeah, how can you forget?
it's odd. It really is. It really is.
Are you with the patient? Okay, I need someone to keep the phone, stop passing it around.
Can I just tell you what happened very much?
What is going on currently? Is someone passed out right now?
I don't really know, but pretty much at 4 a.m.
Okay, I need to know what's going on.
See, that sounds like somebody that is like, I don't feel like going to school today, Mom. Like trying to fake like they got a fever.
Yeah,
I don't feel like going to school today, Mom.
yeah, like she's like, I don't need to tell you what's going on now because I have to tell you about what was going on earlier. Like, okay, well, that sounds like she knows what happened, and so she's not concerned with it. She's still concerned with what happened before.
Mm-hmm. And she and the dispatches want to know about the current situation. You can talk about 4 a.m. when the officers get there, you know. They want to know the info about the current situation, the current potential victims, patients, the current situation. They're not there to investigate the crime. They don't need to know about 4 a.m. at this moment until they get the information about the current situation. And then after they get the current situation, then they'll start talking about situations that happened at different periods of time. They need to know what the call is for. They need to be able to determine the severity of the call. They need to, you know, what code it's going to be even a response to. They need to know that. And that's what they're trained to do. And so when it comes to this 911 operator, I've heard people bashing on the 911 like they're insensitive. Not at all. They're asking questions that they're trained to get the information for first. And it's the other people that are not being cooperative. And then when it comes to her getting upset because people are handing the phone to different people, it's again because she's not getting the current situation, and she needs to get the current situation so she knows how to mark the call.
Yeah.
It was just chaos. It was just chaos.
Yeah.
And this
so
right here,
disjointed. It was, yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry about the delay. Go ahead.
No, that was it. That was it. You go ahead.
No, and when she gets back on the phone, I don't even hear shock and horror.
Mm-hmm.
I hear my daughter pretending to be sick because she doesn't feel like going to school that day. It's like, okay. Oh, I don't know. It seems off.
I can't tell you what happened very much.
KB, that's the thing. I've been that age before. Okay, it would be different if I was a 18-year-old talking about this stuff, right? But you're talking to somebody that's already experienced it, lived it, and knows what shit happened. You know, it's another thing if it's. I'm coming from that spot. Exactly, Kate. Of course they do. Of course they do.
What is going on currently? Is someone passed out right now?
I don't really know, but pretty much at 4 a.m.
Okay, I need to know what's going on right now if someone is passed out. Can you find that out?
Yeah, I'll come. Come on, we gotta go check.
We need to go check. Because somebody walked in the house last night. What does that have? What might that have to do? What if it was somebody that was? I feel bad. I feel bad for the 911 operator and the negativity that she's getting because of the call. It makes no sense whatsoever. There's no information, and she's clearly stating what, this is what they're trained to do.
Okay.
See, now it sounds like somebody's coughing and dry heaving. Right there. That, to me, it sounded like somebody started coughing and a little bit of a dry heave. Now you can tell that person obviously is recognizing the situation.
She's not waking up.
Okay, one moment. I'm getting help started that way.
Now that's what's confusing to me. Is you listen to the statements from Kathy Mabbitt in the very beginning. And Kathy Mabbitt states that it was very messy. I don't understand. If it was very messy, the response is just, no, she won't wake up. Wouldn't you think, like, you would hear something like there's such and such all over the floor?
Yeah, or someone would be like, oh my God, it stinks. Oh my God, help. Like, oh my God, that smells. What is that? Or it's disturbing how those statements are just so different from the coroner and the people who say they're in front of the victims at the moment during this call.
Right. Especially if and then, she's got to be at the top of the stairs. Or maybe she doesn't, I don't know. Maybe she's around.
Oh yeah, one time you can hear her. She's on the wood floor. You can hear her at one point where you can hear her run down the steps. I don't know what steps they are, but you can hear that she is running down those steps.
Yeah, they're the steps right by the front door. And they're wood too. They're wood too. So
yeah, you can hear the hollow drum. Mm-hmm.
I could see this person if they're not saying, oh my gosh, there's this all over the floor after they're not waking up, then to me that says that somebody is like, okay, there's that half wall. You go up the stairs from the front door, you go up the stairs. There's that half wall right there. The only thing I'm thinking of is she's just relying on whoever right above that half wall saying something to her. I mean, how do you not know if Kathy Mabbitt, why would Kathy Mabbitt tell you how messy it was? And then you don't hear how messy it was on the 911 call. If you see that kind of messy, that's going to scare the living hell out of you, because it's like Danny said, it's a horror movie. It's a horror scene. Here, let me go to the here. I'm going to go to the Kathy Mabbitt interview real quick. You can hear her describe how horrible and messy the scene is, and you can see how watch how she swallows. Watch how she swallows. Hold on, I got to look it up here real quick because I wasn't even going to use it tonight. Here it is, right here.
Kathy, with a C, Mabbitt, M-A-B-B-U-T-T.
And I'm going to ask you, how long have you been doing this for?
I've been doing it for 16 years, and I just got reelected for another 4.
So what is it that, or I guess, when did you get the call on Sunday?
I got the call just a few minutes after noon that there were 4 homicides. I didn't go to the scene because of law enforcement doing their investigation first. So I didn't actually go to the scene until about 5 or 5:30.
Can you walk us through, like, for our viewers, kind of the process between when police show up and then you guys getting the bodies and doing their examinations?
Sure. Well, law enforcement goes through and looks for any evidence, takes videos and pictures of everything in there, and they'll start talking with people. So I don't really need to be there for that. They can't move the bodies. I mean, the bodies have to stay as they were until the coroner gets there. So that's what my job is, to look at the bodies.
As a coroner, do you guys do the autopsies and all that?
No, we some do if they're an actual medical examiner, but we have forensic pathologists and we contract with Spokane to do that.
So in your experience, what is it that you saw when you showed up?
Well, there was a lot of blood. It was a very sad scene with 4.
Listen to the question again.
When you showed up.
Well, there was.
So in your experience, what is it that you saw when you showed up?
What is it when you saw when you showed up?
Well, there was a lot of blood. It was a very sad scene with 4 murdered college students.
You're rolling all 4 deaths.
I mean, so when you get to this night, it's like the ladies in the 80s with the Wendy's commercials. Where's the beef? Where's the blood? Where's the blood in the 911 call? They contract a lot with Spokane, Busby. Trust me, they do a lot with them up there. Where's the blood in the 911 call? Oh, yeah, she's not waking up. We'll go back to that part again here. Now, just remember, you heard Mabbitt say that. Contribution call out C-Dog. 1 second here. Thank you so much. $5 super chat. I agree everything is off, but both the prosecution and the defense has the downloaded activity, the phone's orientation, etc. Right. And Ann Taylor continues to state, like, I don't see how all of this. She talks about how things are being manipulated, and she doesn't want things being manipulated in the courtroom. Look at the PCA and look at all the stuff that's coming out now. Like, doesn't it seem like some things are manipulated? It does. Even the two surviving roommates' statements.
Even Mabbitt's statements a little bit.
What's that?
Even Mabbitt's statements. Some of her statements feel manipulated as well. I mean, she does say as much because she can't say a lot because of the law enforcement wanting to keep the investigation. But there's some tells that she has where you can tell areas she's not supposed to talk about.
Yeah, it's like when you talk about how there's people taking pictures and documenting stuff. I didn't need to be there for. I'm sorry. The coroner medical examiner is one of the first freaking people to show up. Like, you look at all these different reports from these other crimes,
Yeah. What?
and they're one of the first to show up. But she wasn't allowed to until 5:30. Wasn't allowed, is what she said.
She's so important in the pecking order. It's just unacceptable that she wasn't allowed for a murder scene.
Yeah, wasn't
very
allowed.
odd.
Not allowed until 5:30. That right there. I don't know, but yet she's seasoned. She, because they ask later on in that interview, is this something new? Oh no, I've handled these cases before, these kind of cases before. Yeah, no, I know what I'm doing. I just got reelected. Yeah. So let me know where you hear the blood when they were asked to go in and check, right?
But we have to. She's not waking up.
Okay, one moment. I'm getting help started that way.
Well, okay, thank you. Not there's blood all over the place. Please, somebody, hurry, hurry, hurry. Okay, thank you. I'm sorry. When you got somebody coming out saying, don't be compassionate, I'm sorry. When I'm looking at any of this stuff, I'm looking at it as a damn parent. And if my offspring, and these are her friends, and what? Oh, it drives me nuts. I'm sorry. Okay, right there. Somebody knows what the hell. That's breathing. Like,
sounds like
you, yeah, you know. That's some breathing. Like, you know what the hell just took place. That right there, that's some breathing that you hear in a horror movie. Like, it's the I'm trying to maintain my breath and I'm so jittery you can hear the as I'm breathing in and out because my body is just trembling with adrenaline and fear. Oh yeah. That's a breath. That's a breath. You know what the hell took place. Uh-huh. Yep. Their body's shaking so bad. They're trying to keep breathing. Yeah. They're about to pass the F out. They're about to pass the F out. Yeah, that's when they noticed it, and then that heavy breathing, and they're feeling lightheaded. It's that's like somebody's chasing you down from the scene of the crime with the weapon right there, and you're hiding behind a tree. Like, that is that kind of adrenaline.
Yeah, that is scary.
I know. That's the question I have, and it's a great question, Heather, and thanks for all you do out there on YouTube as well. That's the question I have is, who's the heavy breather, though? Now, it sounds to me, because you hear the gibberish, it sounds like the same person. So let me back up a little bit again. And check it out. You'll hear the talking. Okay. Then I think they noticed it, and you can hear the mumble. And that's when the heavy breathing comes, is because all of a sudden she couldn't even talk. She couldn't even talk. I think it's the same person.
She's not waking up.
Okay, now here you hear the talk.
Okay, one moment. I'm getting help started that way.
Okay, no watch. Now they're getting into that hyperventilating phase that I feel it's the same person. You hear the mumble. It's the same tone, the same pitch as the other voice. You hear the now it's into the hyperventilation, like, oh, I'm about to pass out. All right there.
Yeah.
I think it's the same person. Hands the phone off. Yeah, they're still inside. They're still inside. Get out, get out, get out. I think she was hiding behind that half wall, waiting for them to tell her if she was passed out or not, was able to say it, probably got curious after, oh, okay, that they were sending somebody, got curious, looked around that half wall, and that's when they went, then they took a look around again, and that's what, get out, get out. That's what I think happened right there.
Yeah, that's probably what happened.
Now that's where you hear the real emotion. The beginning.
Yeah.
Right? So what were you like, what were the photos of you before everybody else came? You walking up the stairs, turning your phone around the half wall, taking photos. What would make you not even go up the stairs, right? What would make you not go up the stairs? What would make you not go into the living room? What would make you not go into the kitchen? What would make you not go up to their doors? Right?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't make sense. You knew you were afraid, but you didn't know what you were afraid for? How does that make sense? Yes, the friend asked them to call the police, told them to call 911. Like I said, I don't understand. Like, what if that was, I don't get it. I don't get how you can't ask the questions that exist with this. I really don't understand.
That's so frustrating.
I really don't get it. Because to me, it's so weird. These are all these questions I'd be asking them about this call.
Okay, and how old is she?
She's 20.
20, you said?
Yes, 20. Okay.
Hello? Hello?
Okay, I need someone to stop passing the phone around because I've talked to 4 different people.
Okay. Sorry, they just gave me the phone.
Is she breathing?
Hello?
Is she breathing?
No.
Okay.
You need to talk to them, Shay. I can't talk to them. They need you to talk to them.
Hello. Okay. I've already sent the ambulance and law enforcement. Stay on the line. If there is a defibrillator available, send someone to get it now and tell me when you have it.
So why would you hand the phone to somebody else and don't want to talk to him? And then he's like, look, they want to talk to you. Okay. And then you get back on like everything's normal again. I don't understand that either. Like, why?
Say that again? There's a police here right now.
Okay. If there's a defibrillator available, send someone to get it now and tell me when you have it.
We don't have one. I can see it. Do you have a defibrillator? Yes, we have one.
Are you talking to the...
Does a defibrillator help when there's a bunch of blood all over? I mean, if you saw blood all over, you gonna ask, double check for a defibrillator? Like,
you got to make sure that the person is breathing, because if they're breathing, that's going to really hurt.
But
when you use that kind of thing,
if they're passed out and they're not breathing, but like Kathy Mabbitt said, you don't say they're not breathing if you didn't check on them, right? If you can't get the door open, you can just say that you would say they're not answering. You wouldn't say they're not breathing. Somebody checked on them to let them know that she wasn't breathing. So why would it be a defibrillator? Why? Go ahead.
Yeah, it was all like they're playing like a game of telephone. Like one of them was upstairs yelling all the information down, and then they were relating it to the operator. It's all very strange, all very disconnected.
Yeah, and then you're double checking about a defibrillator. Like, if you checked on them and they weren't breathing, and you're asking for a defibrillator, wouldn't that mean that you probably didn't see blood anywhere? I mean, no, there was no mention, Cherry, about blood in this 911 call. That's one of the things that I'm saying here. Like, how can you not question these things? You know, and I had to wait until tonight to discuss it just because I wanted to when it dropped, but with the trip and then the stuff I've been working on the last couple of days, now's my first chance. And these are the questions that I've had when it first dropped out. And I heard it a few times. I'm like, yo, I got a lot of questions here because a lot of stuff just it ain't. I'm smelling hot dog steak. And I don't like to smell it. It just happens. Yeah, and how did they not smell? It just, you're listening to this, and then how can you sit there? I'm sorry. I would be saying these questions even louder if I was a parent of a victim that had this happen to him, and to sit here and go, you know, don't point fingers. It's like, what are you, dude? You love Eric G, right? You love all these people, but it's like, man, I don't know, man. Maybe the stress and everything brings the awareness down. The lack of the lack of rest doesn't allow you to your mind to fully fire on all pistons? Because I don't see how you can sit there and say don't point fingers when I'm sitting here listening to this and I'm like, yo, what about this and this and this and this? Oh, what would usually take place? I don't think it is a reenactment. Do you think it could be? I don't know. I don't know if they're. I think they would release the real thing. I don't think they would do. I mean, does it sound like a reenactment? Yeah. But do I think it was reenacted? I don't think so. I don't know. It's just too odd. The whole thing. Even like when they say goodbye. Like right here in a second. It's just like, okay, goodbye. Where's the blood? Where's the blood in this? If you were able to check that somebody was not breathing, you would have saw blood. And if you weren't able to check on them if they weren't breathing, then you say, I don't know, they're not responding to me. How do you know they're not breathing then? If they're not talking? It just don't make sense.
The officer?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to let you go since he's there with you and can help you.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Okay.
11:59 a.m. 49 seconds, November 13, 2022.
I mean, okay, bye. Okay, bye. So then you got right here, HJ located the unresponsive body of Xana and informed BF and DM to call 911. Where's the blood? Where's the blood? The statements relate to Kernodle being passed out and not waking up. The declarations were made immediately after HJ discovered Kernodle's body. How do you not? You see what I'm saying? Where is the blood? Where's it at with any of these people?
It's as nondescript as it could be. Like, passing out is such a blanket, doesn't even begin to describe what we've heard happened there. There's nothing in here. That's terrible. That shouldn't be with something like this.
No.
There's no details whatsoever.
But then you got Kathy saying as soon as she showed up, it was messy. Like, you hear these, like, seriously, what part of these injuries? You see what I'm saying? It's like, how do you not question this? How? It just don't make any sense.
It makes them all look suspicious.
Exactly. So I want to get to this document here. This is the one that has the full text. All right. In here, I'll share this with you. This is text messages testimony. Here's the link for this. If anybody wants it, I'll put it in the back chat for you too, if you want it as well. And then if you're not subscribed to Audrey, here is her link for her channel. All right, we're going to look at these here. Now, these are the text messages. All right, let me see here. The span of the time the state seeks to encompass is about a 10-hour time frame. The state indicates the initial text in the beginning is the beginning of the time frame at 2:10 a.m. and that text is not offered for the truth of the matter. Similarly, at the end of the time frame is a text from the University of Idaho at 1:04 p.m. The state grounds its request in the rules of evidence as previous decision by Judge. Let me see here. Let me see here. Okay, I'm just going to skip ahead some of this here. An event. Okay. All right, so right here. And let me flip this around. Let me make this. Let's do this. Give me 1 second. Here, maybe this will work. All right, so here's the text messages. 2:10:29 DM text to Eric, Uber driver. I don't even know why it says Uber driver in here, because even Steve G corrected Olivia when they had the Chronicles of Olivia interview. Private driver, inquiring if he was driving. 3 minutes later, Eric texts back to Dylan confirming he was. Okay, so how come there was no more chatter after that? Okay, then you have right here 2:53, so 40 minutes later, MM calls BF. Madison Mogan calls BF. DM creates a new contact in her phone at 3:51 a.m. BF calls DM. DM calls XK. This is all 4:19. So 4:19, Bethany calls Dylan. Isn't that weird? Whoa.
Aren't they supposed to be together? That's not cool.
Yo, this is that's really weird. That light's like totally spasmed.
What happened?
I don't know.
Oh, I see it now.
I don't know. Oh, hold on. Is there some like spirit shit here going on or something? Where's Crabtree?
No.
Where's Crabtree in the spirit box?
You're gonna be on Slapped Ham. Top 5.
I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, you know Slapped Ham?
No, I never heard of it. Never heard of it. Hold on.
That's why everybody sends their scary videos.
No, I'll have to check it out sometime. No, I never heard of it.
Oh, he's great.
Yo, like, hey, let me know if you hear some spooky shit in the background or you see some orbs, okay? I don't know. Maybe Krabby's got something to do with it. I don't know.
If you get in contact with Slam, you just have to. Yeah.
But isn't this interesting, though? At 4:19, BF calls DM.
So they're not together.
No.
Does that just blow the case open?
BF was awake. BF is the one that heard something. Probably wakes up Dylan with a phone call.
Oh, okay.
Now, what's weird is this is what's really odd, right? Is you got at 2:53, you got MM calling BF. Madison Mogan is calling BF. Remember when those phone calls were going to Jack? They were also trying to call Bethany.
I wonder if that call was picked up.
Well,
is that the exculpatory evidence?
Well, I don't know. I don't know if it is, because Madison Mogan. Okay, so I don't even think. Who knows what was left? Who knows? Maybe there was a voicemail that was left. Okay. But the crazy thing is remember there was 7 calls to Jack with both phones, Kaylee's and Maddie's phone. Like 7 calls, right? To Jack, right at around that time period. We didn't know that somebody was trying to call Bethany. So in those calls to Jack, Bethany was also called too. And then an hour later, DM creates a new contact in her phone. You know what it sounds like to me? It sounds like to me that the reason DM texted Eric if he was still out driving is because I bet you Eric came and got her and dropped her off, and then the DM creates new contact in her phone. It makes me wonder if it was a burner phone from Eric.
Ooh.
And it also makes me think that DM just got home at 3:51 a.m.
Yeah.
This right here, the reason we don't hear anything more about it is because I bet you he said, hey, hit me up on this phone number. Hey, Eric, you still out? Because she's still out, right? She's still out. Hey, Eric, you still out? Yeah, I'm still out. Hit me back at this number. Okay. Then I'm going to call you. Yeah, Eric, I need you to come pick me up at here and here and here and here. Okay, I'll be there in a minute. Eric comes back at 3:51, drops DM off. She adds that new number into her phone. That's a burner phone that Eric has, so his freaking wife doesn't know that he's doing these calls on the side. I don't think Dylan came home until 3:51 in the morning, just minutes before the crime took place. You want to know maybe why the back door there was no forced entry? Maybe because Dylan forgot to lock the damn door when she came in because she was too damn drunk. Isn't that crazy though? Why are you creating a new contact in your phone at 3:51? I'm sorry, I see all this, and to me it says she wasn't home until 3:51. Then you got BF, Bethany, because there was a call from Maddie's phone, and it was probably, that's when she probably noticed the call. Then BF calls DM. Like, hey, do you know what's going on?
Exactly what I was thinking, yeah.
DM calls the 2 floors at 4:20. And then DM calls BF for 41 seconds. BF calls again. DM calls again. BF calls again. BF calls EC. No one is answering. I'm really confused right now. You can tell these are already redacted too. Then you got DM to KG's Kaylee. What's going on? BM outgoing message Snapchat. Snapchat. BF, yeah, dude, what the F? BF, Xana was wearing all black. I'm freaking out right now. No, it's like ski mask utmost. Shut the F up. Actually. DM, like he had something over his head and his mouth. So am I. Phone, come to my room. Run. Down here. DM calls EC. Why would, if you're running down there, right? Then you're going to call BF to DM, outgoing call, outgoing message Snapchat, outgoing message Snapchat. You're going to tell me people didn't know? What the hell's Snapchat? You're sending it to somebody else. You're going to tell me nobody knew? This is at 4:30 in the frickin' morning. Snapchats. Nobody knew? BF access Snapchat at 4:34.
So was DM sending BF Snapchats?
Yeah, BF access Snapchat. Dylan outgoing. Well, we don't know if it's to Bethany. It just says outgoing message, outgoing message. But Bethany did a Snapchat up here too. Outgoing message, Snapchat at 4:23. 4:27, Snapchat, Snapchat. Your phone's about to die. You're supposed to run down there, but you're sending Snapchats. Then you got calls. Madison, Dylan. Dylan calls again. Madison. Then they call again at 4:30. It keeps going. Calls. DM text. BF accesses Snapchat. Instagram. Calls dad. 3 hours later. You access Instagram. And 3 hours later, then you call your dad. Call your dad. BF calls another number. Who's that? Calls home. Calls mom. Dad calls BF at finally 8 o'clock in the morning. But why is there this gap from 4:37 to 7:30? Then you got
so creepy. They knew something happened.
Then you got this right here. This is what you wanted to see. 8:41 to 8:42, BF takes photos. BF takes photos. Then you got more DM messages on Snapchat, Instagram, Indeed, messages incoming, outgoing. See, you want to, when people want to say they didn't know by 9:10 in the morning, right here, people, they knew. They knew. And you want to sit there and yeah, none of us. Yeah, I just talked to the frat guys a couple of nights ago, and they said that nobody knew anything until after the 911 call. Bullshit. I've heard 9 to 10 a.m. from very beginning, and this is showing you 9, 10 a.m. Hell, I bet you people knew at 4:30. They just didn't notice it until 9, 10 a.m. What do you think she's doing all on these different social media platforms? Then you got more text. DM on Instagram. Instagram. Text between Yik Yak. TikTok. Probably meant to be TikTok. Now we're on TikTok. This is all before the 911 call. Messages on Snapchat. Dad texts. BF. JM. Instagram. All of this activity. This tells you they knew. So you're going to sit there and tell me, listen, you can fool somebody else that is just going to sit there and take what you have to say and go with it. But I'm sorry. That's why you see the numbers in the background. It's analytics, it's probabilities. And I'm telling you, your analytics and your probabilities are a bunch of BS. And the fact that you want to claim that you didn't know, get out of here. Because you all knew at 9, 10 a.m. in the frickin' morning. And I wouldn't be surprised if somebody knew at 4:30. And if you didn't, it's because you didn't wake up in time to get your messages. Crazy. How do you not have questions? How do you not have questions? Sorry about that, light, you guys. Let me see.
Is that the ghost?
I don't know.
It's like they knew what happened and they were alerting everybody about it. All that those blasts of social media and texts and calls in the morning, later in the morning. What does it start around 7 or 8 in the morning? And it just goes.
I mean, you just look at it. You know, it's all broke down right there. The 911 call, the messages, right there. There's the chunk of the breakdown. And that's what I wanted to say when it comes to all of this, because to me, it doesn't make sense. And Caddy, great question. You know, what do you think about what Kim said? You know, and I'm going to tell you right now. It just like before I left for this trip a week ago. The reason that I don't have the videos downloaded, so I literally, in order to combine all of it together, I have to re-record it. But this is why I said a week ago, you guys, I'm gonna take all the conversation that we had on my show back then, and I'm going to put it in one freaking video. And then I'm going to,
awesome.
Because honestly, like, cause some of it wasn't even out there. There was some stuff I just didn't even, we had the show and then I put it, you know, I took it down. I put, you know, cause I'm like, this is crazy. But when you sit there and you listen to this stuff, now, yeah, there's a lot of it that is kind of like, whoa, and some of it doesn't make sense. But then when, you know, there's always a little bit of truth in everything. And when you're listening to the time frame of when everybody knew and what was going on, that is what I've always felt was true about all of this stuff, because that's the same stuff that I was hearing too. Was that people knew hours before.
Mm-hmm.
So I just have to, I was in the process of doing this stuff. I got to go out on location again in a day or two. But tomorrow, that is my main goal tomorrow morning, is to get up and get those things put together so I can have it for you guys for tomorrow. And then we're going to talk some more, you know, we're going to talk some more. I even put out that Nancy Grace episode, a sneak peek. I'm sure maybe it is out by now. It might not be, but I put that out there for you guys earlier too, and we might get into that tonight. But I did want to talk about a couple other things as well. Also, contribution call out C-Dog, $2 super chat, 253, right after trying to get a hold of Jack. Exactly. You know, I'm calling my roommate downstairs, and I can imagine there was a voicemail that said, because how did they know somebody? Dylan adds a new contact, and all of a sudden she hears somebody in her house. Yeah, she just got home. It had to be EG. But I can guarantee you, the call, nobody's just going to call and hang up and not call you again and again and again. There was one call, and I guarantee the call was after the ones to Jack, because the ones to Jack weren't getting answered, and the call to Bethany was, hey, there's somebody up here right now. That's why there wasn't another call. That's why there wasn't a few calls after that. Because that was the final call, I believe. Hey, there's somebody up here. And that was it. At that period, I think that's shortly after, a couple minutes after.
Oh.
Bam. What's up?
Yeah, I think you're right. That was the last one.
It had to be. You know, and you have to, and you go back to this 911. This was 8 hours late, and you're going, where's the blood? You're looking at all this other stuff. I'm sorry. The fact that, you know, Bethany stated that she saw Zena and Ethan arriving at 1:45 a.m. Didn't say Dylan. I don't think Dylan was home until 3:51, and she wasn't home. And shortly after she came home, all of a sudden the crime took place. I'm sitting here the whole time, been talking like, DM, why are you distancing yourself from knowledge of the situation? Maybe because you knew. Maybe because you knew who it was.
Absolutely. That would be that guilty knowledge that she knows. Go ahead.
How do you see somebody and not call 911? You're the one that saw the bushy eyebrows.
Right?
You know, you've distanced yourself from knowledge of what went down. Why? I really feel like the latent footprint is her footprint from her own pair of Vans.
That's what I thought the whole time. Yeah.
Who else goes, whoopsie, and then cleans it up? Not a killer. And I bet you the new contact was Eric's burner phone. Because he probably didn't want his fucking wife looking at his text. She probably went through his text messages. Get that burner phone so those conversations with those young, attractive, intoxicated college girls, you know, so your wifey don't find out. You hide that baby in the trunk wheel well, don't you, buddy? So then you got the documents here. Let's see here. Okay, let me see here. Let me scroll up a little bit. Let me see. I think. Wait, this is the 9. Sorry, I can't see shit. Hold on. So, let me see. Okay, so you got like this right here. So let's see, I would say about 3 feet. So DM stated 5'10" tall, so thought the male was around 5'10" and then 6 foot, somewhere around there. DM stated, or here, let me scroll up. Let me see. It was almost wearing like blurry glasses, like it's fuzzy and cloudy, but it was like a figure of someone wearing all black. And it was like they had a ski mask and that was covering their forehead and their chin and their mouth, but I could see the eye. All I remember was seeing their eyebrows, and I don't remember what their eyes look like, but I remember their eyebrows. I don't remember the color the eyebrows were. I just remember like bushy eyebrows. That's all I can think about. Described as not skinny tone. Now, when we're looking at this photo, we're looking at this photo from the same day. Does that dude not look skinny toned? When I first seen this photo, I'm like, damn, dude is pale and looking malnourished. Look at him now. He does have that skinny face, but he looks a hell of a lot thicker than he does right there. That dude looks frail, looks malnourished. Look at his neck. Look at the whiteness on his knuckles. You ain't got much skin there, do you? No, you don't. That's why your knuckles are showing through, because you ain't got much meat on your bones, man. To me, the dude looks frail. Skin and bones. So when you read this statement, hopefully I clicked the right one. Hold on. So then you read the statement, described the male as not skinny tone, that basketball kind of type. Does that dude look like a damn basketball player? No.
No.
Dude looks like he's been eating peanut butter sandwiches for 3 months, and that's it. Malnourished.
Yeah. If that. Yeah.
You know, why would you need to pawn a KBar that you bought before you came out there? Because you're a broke college student and you wanted to have a cheeseburger. You wanted to eat some fatty food. I'm sorry, that dude does not look like a basketball player.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a basketball player. Damn, that light's almost put me in a trance here. Hold on 1 second.
Oh my gosh.
Let me see. I would say about 3 feet is approximately where she was standing. I'd say about 3 feet from what I remember, but then it could be off because I obviously probably still a little bit drunk. I just woke up. I don't remember fully. Yeah, I came home drunk at 3:51 a.m., right? Again, she described the male. I know he looked at me because I could see his eyebrows, I think I just saw one eyebrow. Yeah, the eyebrow that got illuminated from the good vibe light sign as he was walking through that doorway from the living room into the kitchen area. DM recounted calling and texting her roommate BF, and she discussed with BF that there was someone in the house wearing all black and a ski mask. DM conveyed to the interviewers that the facts didn't fully make sense to her and she didn't know how to explain everything. Gooch explained to DM that the important thing was to tell only things she knew were true. That's the most important. DM agreed. Blaker confirmed the facts from DM's memory again. DM reiterated she saw a male figure in the hallway approximately 3 feet from her. He was holding something. He was wearing all black clothes. His forehead was covered. He was wearing a mask. She remembered his eyebrows. Now, when it comes to only things that she knows is true, she just knew he was holding something. Does it say a knife? Does it say a vacuum cleaner? Ski mask. No, and I don't remember if I saw it. Like I said, I don't remember if I saw his nose, but I know I saw eyebrows, and I don't remember his eyes. I just feel like I could see eyebrows, but I mean, that could be it. I don't know. Maybe you were drunk as shit and looked at your own wall and saw all the eyebrows on your effing wall. No, I don't remember what his eyes look like. I don't remember. Just bushy. Bushy. That's the only thing I can remember. Where does it say knife or vacuum cleaner when it comes to that? We only want to know what you remember and true. Then you got a man's voice. Skinny build. Now it's a skinny build. I don't know how to explain it. I could just see an eye. It's like, let's just focus on the eyebrow. Look at this. More eyebrow. More eyebrow. Drew the mask for the interview. Right? Described his clothing. Black boots at the end of the interview. DM drew the mask for the interviewer. While drawing, she gave a consistent description of the mask and noted the eyebrows. I don't remember if I saw one or two like it was. It was just weird. And then it discusses about him being arrested. Have you seen a picture? Yeah, I looked him up today when I found out. I've seen the one mugshot with the best thing, I think. Is that the person you... I think... Is that the person you saw in your house? Is that the person you saw in the mugshot? I have no clue. From what I remember, I just remember seeing the figure was like not fat, obviously, but more of like the skinnier tone build, some mask on. I don't know what the mask exactly was. You don't remember the mask either. But when I thought about it, it was just like covering here and here. I don't know if it was covering his mouth. Doesn't even know if it was covering his mouth, his nose, or below his mouth or nose. I just remember that he was white. But I didn't know how he was white. I just knew he was. Like, the male had a big... DM telling BF the male had a big nose. Well, why wouldn't she repeat that in all of these other statements that she was being interviewed about it? Scrawny, not fat, few inches taller, my height, shorter. I might just shut that light off in a second. That thing's like driving me nuts. Making it hard to read. Okay. Bushy eyebrows and thus admissible. Her personal knowledge. And she is competent to testify. So what you know, like when it comes to the how important is that statement going to be? Hold on one second. I have to shut this light off. This thing's driving me nuts. One second. Oh, never mind. I think the light bulb just needed to be screwed in. Okay, never mind. I got up and it started working. Sea Dog, $2 super chat. Eric didn't want his side piece to move away. I don't know. I don't know if you would like. I don't know if you would necessarily do that to somebody if they were moving away, but you might do that to somebody that might say they're going to tell, right? You don't want to lose everything. I mean, it wouldn't be the first time somebody unalived their side piece because they didn't want their wife to find out about it, right? Because the side piece was going to finally say something. Or who says, you know, maybe it was a situation where it wasn't warranted and she didn't want it. And he proposed something and she was going to tell on him for that. I don't know. It is weird. Then you got the next thing I do want to cover is these maps. All right, so you've seen these maps here in the court documents. What I'm going to do is I'm going to switch and bring these up full screen here so we can actually zoom into them here. Hold on a second. All right, so you got all these time frames. You got the locations of where they were seen. So from 3:30, 3:28 in the morning was in the area, driving all up around, all up around, all up around. Linda Lane, 3:29 a.m. The picture from Paradise or Ridge Road. Let me see here. Okay, so that's part of what document is that? Because that's in a document, CDOC. It might be in this document, actually. Here, let me switch back to it. It probably is. Let me get back to this document. Okay, let's see here. Because it's an exhibit. There's that. And we'll get more into this in... I'm going to have a lot of Idaho 4 shows coming up. Hey, that's a clearer picture of that map. Nice. Let's see. I thought it was in this one. Because I want to read through this whole thing instead of skipping through it. But I want to try and get everything that we can cover tonight. And then we'll go through all of this stuff in detail. Let me see here. Where is it? There it is. Right here. Okay. But I have to... Let me see. This is from the FBI. So what I'll do is We'll shrink it down. All right, so let me take a screenshot. All right, and then we'll flip it around. Give me 1 second. Well, it's just like the sheath. Is that, how do we know that's the person? You know how many white cars, you can look at my footage, how many white cars drive around there. All right, so let me pull that up. And then we'll turn it to the right. And then we'll bring it up. All right. There we go. All right, so here is, you got the arriving, the departing. Third brake light, lower window. So it is illuminated all the way across. Because we didn't see this in our picture. We didn't see that illuminated in our picture.
What is that?
That's supposed to be the third, what they're calling.
What is that?
They're calling the third brake light. Okay, so let me show you. Let me bring up this photo from back then, because we still have to dig through stuff. Because I still don't think that was the car. So let me show you. It's a different photo. So let's pull it up with, we'll have it with the Elantra. All right. Let's see here. What happened to it? Okay. Oh, it does have that. But let me show you this photo. Okay. It does actually have that, but this is what I want everybody still. Where does the illumination come straight across? That license plate light is not going to blend in with the tail light. That's why they originally thought it was a Sentra at first, because that chrome will reflect to blend in that tail light. So, okay, that could be a third brake light, but where is that reflection going to take place on that Elantra? So that's still my question. But let's see here. So arriving, now this right here is the image of the Elantra. But there's the maps. Let me bring up the map as well. Yeah, I see what you're saying, Sea Dog, but I mean, okay, when we're looking at the porch, this is, I already thought about that, okay? So let me bring this photo up too, because this is why I took the photo. When I'm looking at the porch, What is going to make a reflection like that off of the porch? Where can I find the photo? Hold on. I have it here somewhere because it's something I was
Yeah, and if that's so bright, we should see reflections in the window.
Well, I'm trying to find the picture of the porch because it's like, what of the porch is going to give that reflection that's going to show up on the car? You know what I'm saying? There's one porch light and that's it. And it's not going to create that reflection. You would have to have a beam of a light going sideways to recreate that reflection on the car. That's why I'm still asking the same question. Give me 1 second. I have to try and find this photo here. Where did I put it? Okay, here, hold on. Okay. So let's look at the porch. We already know that the Ring camera doesn't have a light on it, right? You got one porch light right here. There's not a beam of a light that's going from one side to the other. These lights right here aren't even lit up on the porch to create some kind of light angle that goes from one tail light to the other. I get it, man. I'm just telling you my opinion. And my opinion, and this is one of the things that I already looked at, this is why I took this photo from one of the screenshots, is because when I first started looking into it, I'm like, well, maybe it's a reflection off of the lights on the porch. I already ruled that out before it even came to another vehicle. That's one of the first things I was looking at. What could have created that reflection if it wasn't from the vehicle itself? I'm not seeing nothing. That's why I continue to look into other vehicles. So in my opinion, I don't know. I need to see more. I need to see more. I still don't think those cars are the same cars. Not one bit. But we'll go into that document here coming up in the next few shows, because we're gonna read through that whole document when it comes to the vehicle and tagging the vehicle and concluding to the vehicle, because to me, I don't want to just skim through it and skip over it. I want to read the whole thing out, because I really need to understand how they got to this 2014, 15, and 16 at the end of December, when supposedly it was what they were looking for the whole time, but it really wasn't, because again, they were looking for a 2019 to 2023 Nissan Sentra. And for all the people that are like, how can they have a 23? They have the newer models the year ahead for the year behind. That's how they do vehicles. The new year's coming out. It's the following year's title. Yeah, that's how it works. How can they have a 23 when it wasn't even? Well, that's how. Let me see. What else do I want to? Now, Steve G's reactions, we basically already talked about that in the 911 call section. And again, I don't think Dylan got home until 3:51. That's just my opinion on that as well. Now, there was a new Nancy Grace episode that came out earlier, and there was a little bit of hostility. I don't know if anybody saw it. She had it. It was live on her show, and then she had it on that Meld or whatever it's called, Melt, whatever that's called. So I'm gonna see if she posted it herself real quick, and if not, then we're gonna play the version that I was able to get, the sneak peek. There's she had a lot of people on there. There was a lot of people that had some difference of opinions. It got a little heated at a couple of moments. It was a very interesting episode, to say the least. So I do want to check that out before we go. I'll be back again tomorrow night talking more documents, obviously. So if you're not busy, you're more than welcome. I know Kathy. I think Kathy's going to join us tomorrow. So we'll be back tomorrow, and then we'll have something for you tomorrow afternoon. I'm going to try and get that stuff done for you guys in the morning, so it's out there in the afternoon for you, and you guys can enjoy that and hear all those conversations that I had with Kim back then, compared to what has been coming out in these the 911 and all these different documents that are coming out. Let me see here. I'm trying to see. Okay, I think it is. What's up? Sorry, I'm trying to find it so I can't see.
I'm laughing at Michael Edge. He says her hostile. Never.
Oh yeah.
Nancy Grace. That's made me laugh. Hi, Detective Golden.
Well, hey, what's up? I don't know. As I was watching this episode, I was like, me and Nancy might be on the skirts here pretty soon, because she's getting a little crazy with the twisting and manipulation. So we might have a period where we don't talk for a little while, just because it's getting a little
okay.
A little crazy. I'm not seeing it. Okay, so she must not have put it out. I don't think she did. All right, so let me go to my copy.
So the people she's had on were getting frustrated with her? Is that
Oh,
what
it
happened?
was there was some tenseness to it. It's
Wow. Usually
Yeah.
it's not that. They all agree with her usually, right?
Not necessarily. Especially like Joseph Scott Morgan. I love that guy. He's awesome. Especially Joseph Scott
yeah.
Morgan. Listen, there's some people that'll tell Nancy, like, no, Nancy. Like, no, Nancy. and she'll get a little pissy. She will get a little pissy. Caddy says it was kind of wild. It was. I might no, that we ain't married, Busby. We ain't married. But I don't know. You'll see what I'm talking about. You'll see how it's kind of morphed and all that, because it's got to be fair use. So, but as far as I know, unless somebody else captured it like I did, or they're using my copy, as far as I see, I don't see it out yet. So I don't know. I'm going to use this one. I'll drop the link to the original whenever it does get posted. But this was from just a couple hours ago. Was Brian Kohberger framed?
Breaking news tonight. A shock Brian Kohberger defense. I was framed. Yes, that appears to be where the defense is headed. This as stunning and heart-wrenching 911 calls from inside the home where 4 students were murdered have been revealed. And as we go to air tonight, a creepy, smirky selfie. It's like Brian Kohberger pulled a Kim K. Selfie emerges of Kohberger.
What the hell did Kim K do? What did Kim K do? Why would she even bring Kim K into that? Like, seriously, did Kim K commit? Did Kim K commit a crime? She just took a selfie. What does that mean? Why is she included Kim K? I wonder if she'll get a lawsuit thrown at her from Kim K for defamation, because she could afford it. You cost me money. Definitely. Yeah, I don't get the whole Kim K.
And as we go to air tonight, a creepy, smirky selfie. It's like Brian Kohberger pulled a Kim K. Selfie emerges of Kohberger doing a thumbs up and smirking just hours after the murder. And we eagle-eyed lawyers have detected something very probative in that selfie. Good evening. I'm Nancy Grace. This is Crime Story.
Eagle eye probing something in that selfie. I told you guys he looked malnourished and pale as F. That's what he looked like to me, but I can't wait to find out what the eagle eye investigators discovered. Can't you, Audrey? The eagle eye is back. Oh, I can't wait to find out what they scraped up.
Thank you for being with us.
All right, I gotta mute that, otherwise she'll probably nail me for that. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Can I know the location of your emergency?
Something is happening. Something's happened in our house. We don't know what.
What is the address of the emergency?
1122 T Road.
Can I know the location of your emergency?
Something is happening. Something's happened in our house. We don't know what.
What is the address of the emergency?
1122.
What is the rest of the address?
Oh, King Road.
Okay. And is that a house or an apartment?
It's a house.
Can you repeat the address to make sure that I have it right?
I'll talk to you guys. We live at the White, so we're next to them.
Just hearing that 911 call makes all of our legal analysis and speculation about what may or may not happen at trial dim, because we hear the fear and the terror in the voices of those co-eds upon finding the bodies of their roommates. In the last hours, stunning and heart-wrenching 911 calls and texts have been released that reveal what the roommates did before they called 911, as well their movements. But first, let's hear the actual 911 call, and let me advise you, it's disturbing. And of course, the Brian Kohberger defense wants it suppressed. They don't want the jury to hear this. Wow, I wonder why.
Tell me exactly what's going on.
All right, we already heard it. As I skipped through it, why do you think they don't want anybody to hear it? Why do you think they don't want anybody to hear it? The defense.
The state or the defense?
The defense. She says the defense. She says,
I'm not sure.
Why wouldn't you want anybody to hear it? I'd be breaking it down like I broke it down to you guys tonight.
Yeah. I think it's special for Brian, so I don't understand. Maybe less is more for the jury. I don't know.
No, that's why we said earlier, Winter Bliss, there's little nuggets of truth in everything. So if you break down that statement, then the statement that gets broke down is there's little nuggets of truth in everything. Break that down.
But we have to.
I wonder how that 911 dispatcher feels right.
That's an interesting comment. Yoli says defense wants the witnesses, DM and BF to explain themselves using the transcript to impeach them. Interesting.
That's a great comment. Yeah.
Interesting. That's very interesting. Well, that's the thing. Like, what emotion, Michael? The only emotion I hear is 2/3 of the way into the 911 call when somebody starts breathing and hyperventilating. And then even after that, okay, thank you. I mean, there for a minute period, breathing crazy, hyperventilating, and then, okay, thank you. Do you have a defibrillator? Okay, thank you. Okay. To me, you're in shock for more than a minute. But that's interesting, Yoli. I bet it makes the most sense to me. Otherwise, you know, I know Nancy does hear terror, don't she? She does. I don't know. I think she's pissy again. We'll see. Look at her though. She's got that. Like it's like when Baby Angel. When I'm right, like I'm playing with baby. No, for real. I'm playing with Baby Angel, right? And she, maybe she just woke up or something, or she's getting tired, and I'm playing around with her, and then all of a sudden she starts to get that look in her, and her ears start to kind of creep back a little bit, and she's got that serious look on her, and I'm like, oh no, Baby Angel's getting mad, getting serious. That's the kind of look that she's got. You're looking at Nancy Grace and you see her cat ears going backwards, It's like when Baby Angel's like, I ain't messing around anymore, Daddy. I ain't messing around no more. Okay, baby. Yeah. She's got those ears back.
Right now, as we hear her say, stop passing it around, and being completely rude to these co-eds calling in. Now you see the difference in the voice of the second caller, and sounds much calmer than, you know what? Let's listen to the first one now.
911 location of your.
All right, we already broke it down. Let's skip to where she talks about it.
Oh, can you find that out?
Yeah, I'll come. Come on, we gotta go check. But we have to.
And there you hear the surviving victim speaking, and she begins to tell what happened. She says pretty much at 4 a.m. and the dispatch operator cuts in and goes, yeah, I don't need to know that. I need to know if somebody passed out. Can you find that
right
out? Okay, let's keep going.
She's not waking up.
Okay, one moment. I'm getting help started that way.
Okay, thank you.
You hear crying and heavy breathing between sobs in the background. It was almost unintelligible. Now they've got a guy friend that's been brought over, and you hear him screaming, Xana, Ethan, unintelligible, right now. Get somebody here right now. And the continued sobbing, and you hear someone yelling, Xana, Xana. And I only can imagine at that moment, to Chris McDonough joining me, he and I have been to the scene many, many times, them shaking Xana, yelling at Xana, trying to make her wake up. No wonder Kohberger wants this suppressed, so the jury will never hear it, because it takes you to that moment when they realize their roommates have all been murdered.
What's the probability? Like, I'm just gonna ask here, what other case what other case did we hear that the person that committed the crime didn't want the 911 call audio being used or played so the jury didn't hear the horror in the call. What? What? I don't know. I'm caught off guard there. It's a little too much. It's a little too much. Let's hear what her cheerleader has to say, because you know he's a huge cheerleader of her. Big time cheerleader.
Absolutely, Nancy. I mean, this is a very powerful 911 call. It also gives us a clear understanding of the state of mind of everybody that was experiencing this horror that very moment. I mean, to the point where, you know, there's almost a disbelief that takes place. And I've heard, like you and many others, hundreds of these phone calls. And these kids, imagine going upstairs and witnessing what they've witnessed. It's just horrific. It's absolutely.
How do you hear hundreds of these phone calls, bro, and you don't have the same questions? Because I'm going off of a whole bunch of other calls just like it too. And I'm sitting there going, wait a minute. I'm not hearing what I'm supposed to be hearing. That's why the questions pop up, because it's like, oh yeah, that usually takes place and it's not right now. And Norma, exactly. But they knew something bad had happened in there and still didn't call 111, didn't even call 911 until their friend told them to call 911. And the only reason you're going to call 911 in that situation is because then the question will come back on you. Well, why didn't you call 911 when your friend told you to? And you really can't answer that one. You really can't. No, this dude is a huge cheerleader here.
Horrific.
I'm just thinking how they are going to try to get the 911 calls suppressed. That's really hard to do. To Dr. Bethany Marshall, first of all, we were just speaking to Chris McDonough. He is the star of the Interview Room on his own YouTube channel. But for my purposes, he is a veteran homicide detective with over 300 death scenes under his belt. He's at coldcasefoundation.org. Dr. Bethany.
Oh my God, is Dr. Bethany the same ghost that's been screwing with this light over here? Dude, the lady looks like a damn ghost, and look at her freaking necklace, man. A snake coming off the side of your neck?
No, the necklace.
Whoa. Whoa.
So eccentric.
I don't know. MIC is the ghost of Bethany's past. I'm serious. I mean, son of a bitch.
Oh,
I'm gonna have dreams about freaking this lady haunting this damn room.
Where does Nancy find these people? Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I mean, isn't it crazy?
I can't handle it.
Isn't it crazy? Like, I go up to like shut the light off and then it instantly fixes. And then as soon as I sit down, it starts flickering again. And then I say something about it. And then it's been working ever since. Now watch, it'll quit working in a second. This lady's effing with me right now. This damn ghost.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Some wizardry.
I swear to God. I swear to God, if I see a ghost and it's got a snake coming off the side of their neck, I'm like, hey. I give up. I give up, man. Oh, the cops are going to ask me, what did you say? I saw a snake on the neck. Not a bushy eyebrow. Well, that is kind of a bushy eyebrow, but I saw a snake on the neck. Oh my God, that's crazy. That's wild. All right. Oh man. Yikes.
These two surviving victims, Dylan and Bethany, have been attacked, maligned, mistreated, all sorts of accusations hurled their way. None of it matters. When you hear this 911 call, none of that matters. I remember when I first started prosecuting, I would try to, reshape the victims or witnesses to give a better impression. That lasted one trial. I'm like, forget it. Take your witness as you find them and weather the cross-exam. Nothing is going to matter to this jury when they hear that 911 call, no matter how the defense tries to attack these girls.
Nancy, this 911 call is the first witness and the last witness in this case. It's uncontrovertible truth. You cannot take away from it. You cannot minimize. You cannot cross-examine a tape and try to tell the witnesses, oh, they weren't really that emotional and they were making it up. It's right there. You hear the shock incomprehension, try to make sense of what's going on, the hysteria, as you said earlier. Also, Nancy, fear, profound fear. They say there was a man in the house last night. So they're in a house where
profound fear, but one of them's like, oh yeah, I almost forgot about the jelly. Oh yeah, I almost forgot there was some guy running up in their house too. I forgot. I forgot. I almost forgot. It's profound fear. These key words, man. It's the manipulation of situations. Where did you hear profound fear? I didn't, except for a minute. That's it. And then after that, okay, bye. That profound fear don't even make sense. It would have lasted to the end of the call. Not just for a minute.
Yeah.
But they feel
whatever they're saying, I don't know. Just wait. The agitation comes soon. She's got her pom-poms up first, because you gotta, who do we root for? Nancy. Who do we root for? Nancy. You got to get the, you got the opening act before you got the, the performance right here. You got the opening act. All right, pom-pom 1. All right, pom-pom 2. Just wait, though. Not everybody's holding pom-poms.
Feel vulnerable at that point, too. Guilt that it's their roommate and not them. Nancy, the tapes are going to be suppressed because these voices don't lie. They are real, true, raw, jagged emotion.
I'm going out now to Crime Stories investigative reporter who has devoted herself to researching and investigating, poring over every detail, every photo, every word of transcript. In this case, Sydney Summer joining us. Could you clarify for everyone who is Hunter Johnson?
So Nancy, Hunter Johnson is referred to only as HJ in court documents. But when you read the Gonzalez statement in response to this 911 call being made public, they mention Hunter Johnson. He's a friend of Ethan Chapin's, and he is that male voice that you're hearing on the 911 call, according to the Gonzalez family. So the context that we can kind of gather, what I'm hearing at least, is that Hunter is the one who couldn't get a hold of Ethan, finally decides, they're not answering the bedroom door. I'm going to step in here and see what's going on. So he opens that door. He sees Xana's body. And at this point, he knows that something is really wrong. He immediately tells Bethany Funk to call 911, but it seems like he didn't give her the full story of what was going on. So he tells her that Xana needs help. She needs to call 911, but doesn't really explain everything. So when you hear them, we need to go check. We need to get more information for the dispatcher. Mm-hmm. They go inside to talk to Hunter to see what's going on. And they're asking, is she okay? Is she passed out? Because he hasn't told them what he is seeing in an effort to protect them, maybe keep them calm so they can get 911 there. And you can hear him, get out, get out, get out, telling them to back out of the room because he doesn't want them to see the horrors that he's experiencing.
When you know what you're looking for, and the jury will have to be told this in advance. When you know what you're looking for or listening for, you clearly hear him, HJ Hunter, yelling, Xana, Ethan, and then you hear him again yelling for Xana Kernodle to wake up. Here, we hear him again. Listen.
Okay, and how old is she?
She's 20.
20, you said?
Yes, 20.
Okay.
Hello? Hello?
Okay, I need someone to stop passing the phone around because I've talked to 4 different people.
Hey, sorry, they just gave me the phone.
Is she breathing?
Hello?
Is she breathing?
No.
What is wrong with this dispatch operator? But you know what? That's neither here nor there. Here we are hearing.
Right. Remember, Hunter went in and then advised them to call. Remember? In that document we just read a little bit ago, it said Hunter went in and advised Bethany and Dylan to call 911. That was after he recognized Xana's body. Contradictions. Contradictions. That was a great title that we've had for this case from the very beginning. Questions and contradictions, because there's a whole bunch of them. Heather. Oh, you're so awesome.
HJ, Hunter, talking to dispatch, and at the beginning you hear heavy breathing.
Where's the blood?
Whispering something unintelligible that
Where's
seems
the
to end
blood?
with the word blood, and then you hear him turn around and yell, "Get out! Get out! Get out!" and crying. And then you hear a female voice crying, and then you hear dispatch being rude again.
Being rude. Oh my, we already went into it in the beginning of the show. I thought she was being pretty calm and collective while trying to get the information. I don't know. I don't understand it. She's got those ears back tonight. I'm telling you. Damn, now I'm afraid to go. Now I'm afraid to go visit baby Angel because I'm afraid the spirits maybe got a hold of her, and as soon as I walk in to see her, she's going to jump and attack the shit out of me or something. I don't know. There's a weird vibage going on. Oh, big time, Joker. Big time. It is. It's selling a narrative. I mean, the pain and the
Yeah.
I mean, it's. That's why I said after tonight, me and Nancy might not be talking anymore for a little while. It's happened before. It's happened before.
Let's hear more of the 911 call just released.
She's talking to them, say. I can't talk to them. They need you to talk to them.
Hello. Okay. I've already sent the ambulance and law enforcement. Stay on the line. If there is a defibrillator available, send someone to get it now and tell me when you have it.
Say that again? There's a police here right now.
Okay. If there is a defibrillator available, send someone to get it now and tell me when you have it.
We don't have it. I think yes. Do you have a defibrillator? Yes, we have one.
Are you talking to the officer?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to let you go since he's there with you and can help you.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Okay.
To Sydney Sunmer joining us, Crime Stories investigative reporter. Sydney, you hear dispatch clearly not understanding what's happening. Not their fault, because even the girls right now don't really understand what's happening. The only one that knows what has happened to a certain degree is Hunter Johnson. He saw, obviously, that they were dead and told Dylan and Bethany to get out, yelling at them, get out, don't go in there.
So then why does he get on the phone and go, hello? 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 They don't want to talk to me. Here, they don't want to talk to me. Why are you not going? Please send somebody as soon as possible. As soon as possible. Hello? Hello? I just got done surfing, dude. Hello? Hello? Oh my God. Surfer boy in fucking Idaho answering the phone. Hello? 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 Give me a break. Oh my God. Where's the blood, right? He said blood in the call. Where's the blood, bro? Well, they don't want to talk to me, bro. Here, they want to talk to you.
Defibrillator would not have helped at that point, Sydney.
No, Nancy, absolutely not. And that's a point the Gonzalez family made in their statement about this 911 call is,
don't
again,
point
remember,
fingers.
As you're hearing this, if they had called 911 at
don't point fingers
4:50 a.m., the result would have been the same. All 4 of these students still would have lost their lives. And Nancy, I do think it's interesting that the girls, everyone on this 911 call, mentions the man that they saw in their house at 4 a.m. multiple times. So as they're making this 911 call, the girls know enough to feel like that is connected in some way or shape or form. They feel that's important enough to tell the 911 dispatcher. So it's unclear exactly who knew what in this moment, but it does feel like it was important to them that this possible break-in be mentioned right off the bat.
You know, Sydney Sumner, there is no replacement. There is no
right, Heather? And then he said, yeah, the trolls that the bridge the trolls came across can go right back over it. It's like, dude, this is what I was asking people. Like, I heard that. You've heard all of these different interviews, and we were going to go into them tonight. We'll go into them another night, because I have some things to say about those too. But when it comes to that trolls, it's just like, that was the latest interview that came out. And the trolls, the bridge, they could just go back over the bridge they came here from. It's like, dude, I'm sitting there reaching out to other people saying, can you believe this shit? And then sitting there going, remember when Steve G was the one in the beginning that was the only one telling us the damn truth? Telling us the shit that nobody, the stuff that law enforcement wasn't even coming out and saying. He was the one holding law enforcement accountable. Excuse me. That, you know, they won't let us put out a reward. You know, like saying all these different things. Like they were getting mad at Steve back then because he was saying shit ahead of the investigation. And then all of a sudden, we're looking at him and he's like, don't point fingers at these people. Bro, you gotta ask these questions, man. Like, how much of the Kool-Aid you been hitting lately? Because before, you weren't wanting none of it. In fact, you were calling out the Kool-Aid. And now it almost seems, it's like, what is going on? The trolls and the twist and all. It's like, what are you talking about, dude? You go from one end of the spectrum to the other. You go from coming out and telling the truth about stuff, making them be accountable for what that they're not trying to share or tell or any information. You know, you go back to the first press conferences, but then now it's like, you hear the, I don't know. It just, I don't understand. Where did, because to me, I always felt like Steve was like one of the ones that was like really, really like, you know, he smelled the hot dog steaks too. I really felt that way. Like he was the type that would smell the hot dog steaks before other people. Like I do. And now it's like, dude, it's all up in your it's all up in your nose, man. You don't even know the difference. You think he knows? You think he knows who it is? I mean,
yeah.
It just don't make sense. The humongous switch. It's almost like all you can do is bank on them being right, because what's going to happen, you know, maybe it's blind faith. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, it's got to be BK or nobody, because if it's not BK, then it really is going to be nobody. And if it's nobody, well, then how do you even cope knowing that the person that committed this crime is still out there? If, you know, if he wasn't the one that did it, it just, I don't understand him. I really don't. In the trolls and the comments like that, you know, it's just like, dude, what's going on here, man? Because like, I was the one that was defending you, like in the very beginning when he's coming out there and telling people stuff, and he was getting bashed so bad, and I'm sitting back at the community going, what the F is the problem? Why are you all treating Steve G like shit? Steve G should be celebrated because he's actually telling you shit that should be told from law enforcement. And people are getting mad at him about it. It just, there's so much shit that just don't sit right. This is going to be one of the wildest freaking trials. I mean, before, when it came to the evidence and the technology and all that, it's like, man, it's already going to be one for the history books, and it's going to be referred to 50 years from now. It's going to be referred to when it comes to the different technologies and all that other stuff, right? But then you take a look at all of the confusion and the contradictions, and man, it's going to just, that's extra frosting and extra cherries. I mean, you're just piling. It's half cake and half frosting. That's what it is. It's like, holy crap! It's going to be this in so many different ways. Even the contradictions and questions are going to be like referred to 50 years from now. This trial, man. Doug Wilson, yeah. The guy that lights the cigar and throws it on his boat, and the big boom goes on behind him. Yeah, Heather, check out my interview with James that I had from Moscow. Just type in EvilleCJ James Moscow, and when he's talking about the church and stuff, yeah, it's Christ Church. He actually grew up in Moscow, and you should hear his story. There's a reason why he did what he did, is because of the way that he was treated for speaking up and not going with the flow. And now the dude wanted to move to Albania, yo. The dude, I mean, the dude wanted to move to freaking Albania. It's crazy. All right, back to this. She's pissy tonight.
No substitute for preparation for a careful review of every line, every document, every piece of evidence. Because even one word, or in my case, in a serial murder case, I tried one earring.
Interesting, Heather.
So much. And what you just said,
interesting,
I find incredibly valuable. And I'll tell you why, Sydney Sumner. Because we know that the eyewitness that spotted, who the state says is Brian Kohberger, his build, his color, his hair color, his bushy eyebrows, they're going to try and destroy her. But what she just said on the 911 call is called an excited utterance. Whether that really fits this scenario or not, that's what it's called under the law. This is before she had time to fabricate a story, as it will be claimed. This is what's happening on the scene. And you're right, Sydney, and you've identified the importance of the witnesses noting then that there was a guy in the house, and if the dispatch hadn't interrupted her, we would have heard more right there about what happened around 4 a.m. You're right. She is connecting the murders to the intruder in the home. Now, you also heard Sydney Sumner, our reporter, talking about what the Gonzalez family said, Kelly's family. And I got to tell you, these families have been through hell. Hell. And it's not over yet. There's a trial to be had. But I want you to hear what they have to say about this 911 call and all their suffering, they maintain not only courage, but grace.
The Gonzalez family releases a statement. They say every ragged breath, cry, and tremor in the students' voices reveals a cruel reality they experienced, the kind of horror that shakes you to your deepest core.
Oh, that music. Hold on.
One of the roommates has passed out, and she was drunk last night and she got wake me up. Oh, and they saw some.
Oh, and they saw. Yeah, I forgot the pickles on your burger. I'm sorry.
Man in their house last night. Yeah.
Oh God.
In the last hours, heart-wrenching 911 calls have been released of what was going on at the scene of the murder when the roommates wake up and discover 4 people. They didn't know at the time they were all dead. 4 beautiful University Idaho students. This as a smirky selfie emerges of, oh, thank you, Brian Koberger. This is around 10:20, 10:30.
All right, so I got a question. Do you guys think that he took this because he was going out on a date? Remember, when they say that the sheath was planted, they're saying he was set up. Was he set up as a patsy? Was he set up for the fall? There's been a lot of exploration from early 2023 over here where we're like, maybe it was a setup. Some other interesting characters. I don't know. It makes you think. When it comes to this photo, to me, it looks like dude was going out, maybe going to somewhere where it required casual dress, business casual, a dress shirt, some nice pants, doesn't necessarily require a tie. Maybe it did. Maybe dude took it before he put on a tie. I don't understand. Some people button it all the way up to the top. I'm not here to cramp on their style. That's just never been my bag. So to me, it seems a little odd to have the top button buttoned if you're not going to wear a tie. Who knows when it comes to the photo? I don't see some rageful creep, but that's just me.
This as a smirky selfie emerges of, oh, thank you, Brian Koberger. This is around 10:20, 10:30 in the morning, 10:31 a.m. to be precise. Interesting. This is just after the murders. That said, take a listen to this. Of course, you know this is coming. Those 911 calls are so powerful. The defense is fighting tooth and claw to get them suppressed.
Law enforcement released the 911 recording after prosecutors unsealed a court document with transcript of the call. The filing in response to Koberger's argument the jury should not hear the 911 call. The attorneys argue that the call was improperly submitted as evidence, as many of the statements made in the call are hearsay. Judge John Judge already ruled that the statements in question fall under present tense impression and excited utterance exceptions, but defense attorneys are making the argument again with Ada County Judge Stephen Hippler.
And joining me, high-profile lawyer out of the LA jurisdiction, Philip Dubé. Okay, you know what you just heard. I'm going to throw a technical legal term at you. Is a big stinking pile of BS. Okay, that's what that legal motion is. And I don't know how.
That dude looks like a funeral director.
Oh, yeah, I was just thinking that.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, he has urns in the back, too.
That's the brother of the lady we just saw. There, it's like a brother-sister
Oh,
combo.
my God,
Totally.
they look just alike.
They
That's
use
right.
the same powder. They use the same powder. Yo. What is it with these? Creepy ass people.
CJ,
What is it with it? What?
I've had such a good time on with you today, but I gotta hop off here now. Hopefully we'll get together soon.
Sweet dreams. I hope you don't have any nightmares tonight, Audrey. We'll be back tomorrow. I'll be on a little earlier.
Yeah.
Sorry about the technical issues
All right,
tonight.
thanks, CJ.
We'll be back on earlier tomorrow. Appreciate you, Audrey. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thank you so much. And if you're not subbed over to Audrey, here's her channel. Yes, Heather. Sleeps with garlic. Oh my gosh. Boy, it's going to be an interesting night for me. I probably won't get any sleep tonight. I'm going to be like, what was that? What was that?
How defense attorneys keep doing it and have a straight face. You know, they make an argument that a 911 call shouldn't come in. When, of course, it's coming in. It's an excited utterance and it's a present tense impression. But also, of course, it's going to come in if the speaker takes the stand and can be questioned.
Right.
It'd be cross-examined on it. So
I understand that.
What are they trying to do?
Well, I think what they're trying to establish is that you cannot use 911 calls to circumvent the rules against hearsay. And you got to understand something. In order for it to be a present sense impression, they have to be relaying what is happening in real time. In other words, as it occurs. One of the things she says, there was a man in the house last night. So what are you going to do? You're going to state stale facts from the night before to get around the rules against
I got to
hearsay?
see his face when he's saying this to see if he is keeping a straight face. Okay,
sure
first of all,
is.
what you just said is not true because I have entered 911 calls, seen 911 calls entered into evidence by the murder victim, who obviously.
I'm telling you, I got fucking chills. I'm telling you. This is a weird damn night. Tech issues for an hour and a half. Oh my gosh. It's a weird freaking night, y'all. It's a weird night. It's a weird night. I promise. I intend to be back tomorrow. I don't know what's going to happen tonight, but I have every intention on being back tomorrow.
Obviously could not be cross-examined unless you perform a seance in front of the jury. So the fact that the 911 caller or who is speaking on the 911 call cannot be crossed is not a reason not to bring in the 911 call. And the judge pointed out, I guess you think the judge is wrong too, under excited utterance and present sense impression. It's coming in.
Where would it end? What if she would have said, I saw a man in the house 6 years ago, Shavuos, but I happened to find my roommates deceased in their bed today?
But that's not what she said.
No, but she said last night. So last night is a stale fact. It's not a present sense impression. How do you figure?
Him up.
Come on.
You are misleading the viewer.
See what I'm saying? Yeah, Ghost of Christmas Past.
Present tense impression is what the speaker is saying at that moment. It doesn't matter if she's recounting something.
He's going to be in Beetlejuice too. Watch. He's going to be in Beetlejuice. He's going to marry Beetlejuice in the afterlife.
That happened 8 hours before. And when she says last night, that's something she can be cross-examined on. Okay, you know what? I'm not a betting person.
You know what, Nancy? It's just like I said in the beginning. The lady's job is to get the current situation so she can determine the call code. Once that's determined, tell me about the night before. We need to know about what is taking place right now. This is where they twist and manipulate the shit. This is why it's important to have independent journalists when it comes to reporting from this trial. This is why it's important. Because you can't rely on this crap when it comes to this trial. This is why we need independent journalists. Independent journalists that will report the truth.
But why don't we bet right now, on air, that this 911 will come in.
Of course it will, because anything to stick it to the defense. They're going to find tortured legal logic to get it into evidence. Of course, that's what they're going to do.
Okay, you know what? Let's go to someone with real life experience. And
Wow, let's go with someone with real life experience. And then look at that grin. He's probably like, you know what he's calling Nancy. You know what he's calling Nancy. In his head, he's probably like, you little, and it ain't that word that women like you to call them. You know what I'm saying? Look at that grin. He was like, real life experiences. What?
It to the defense. They're going to find tortured legal logic to get it into evidence. Of course, that's what they're going to do.
Okay, you know what? Let's go to someone with real life experience in 911 calls. Chris McDonough joining me, homicide detective, worked over 300 homicide cases. Plus, he was in Vice. You don't even want to know what he saw in Vice. Chris, have you ever in your life, and all the cases you investigated, ever seen the 911 call excluded from evidence, suppressed, so the jury could not hear it? Ever? One time?
No, and definitely not under these circumstances. I mean, your point is right on target, Nancy, with the excited utterance here. It is the exception to the hearsay rule. And remember, we also have to keep the frame of mind of the caller. They are still thinking that their friend is passed out, drunk from the night before. And the other person that grabbed the phone even started the conversation with that. So that's the present tense when it starts.
Oh, man. Oh, the shivers up me spine.
In addition to the release in the past hours of those very disturbing 911 calls, which of course the defense is trying to suppress, new cell phone data released that indicates what the surviving roommates did before calling 911. And again, the survivors have been attacked viciously. The murders occurred around 4 a.m. and you see the calls were made much later, mid-morning. Now we're getting a peek at what was happening in those early morning hours around 4 a.m. So far, jump in, Sydney, if I've got any of this wrong. We know they were all out really late, some of them in a group. They were at a food truck. Remember at the beginning of the investigation, let's see this photo of them at the food truck. Because everybody at that food truck and standing in the group fell under suspicion. I recall there was a guy in the distance. All these people were tracked down and questioned. See the guy on the right kind of standing away? He was found. Everybody was found and questioned. So we know they were at a food truck, I believe getting pasta, super, super early in the morning. I'm talking 1, 2, 3 a.m. We know they went home.
Talking 1, 2, 3 a.m. Nancy, you don't remember what time it was? 1, 2, 3 a.m. 1:40 to 1:55.
We know some of them ordered like Uber Eats.
Come on, Nancy.
These are the last known images of some of the victims. And
where'd she get Uber Eats? Where did she get Uber Eats? Oh my gosh, it's just like Jennifer Coffindaffer's intern files, because she's just relying on facts that her intern writes down for her and then speaks them like they're the 100% truth, and then just reads off the piece of paper like she knows the case. That's why I call them the intern files, because it's the intern that's really doing the work. The intern be fucking up, and I guess the intern be fucking up for Nancy too. 1, 2, 3 in the morning.
This became an evidentiary football at the beginning of the investigation. as LA law enforcement tried to track their last movements and who they would have come in contact with. They go home. Then naysayers immediately began vilifying Dylan and Bethany because they, quote, waited to call 911. But I want you to see the text conversation between Dylan and Bethany.
No one is answering. I'm really confused right now.
Yeah, dude, what the f? Xana was wearing all black.
I'm freaking out right now. No, it's like a ski mask almost.
Shut the f up. Actually?
Like, he had something over his forehead and mouth. Bethany, I'm not kidding. I'm so freaked out.
So am I.
My phone is going to die.
Come to my room. Run down here.
I'm screwed, though.
Yeah, I know, but it's better than being alone.
Sydney Summer.
Those are the two interns. The two interns. Yes, Nancy, we'll put whatever you want, Nancy.
For joining me, Crime Stories investigative reporter Sydney. Let's put this into context. Of course.
I mean, you see how she throws down her notepad when one of her guests is fucking pissed her off. Can you imagine if the intern didn't write down what you? Oh, I can't imagine. She's got the ears are back. I'm telling you, she's feisty tonight. She probably fired one of her interns too.
These cell phone data experts are going to know exactly what time these texts were going back and forth between them. Dylan Mortensen's phone was dying, and Bethany was trying to coax her to run to her room. Can you imagine running from room to room, knowing that there's an intruder or thinking there's an intruder in the home?
She didn't run room to room. Where the intern files? I'm good. Hey, it's gonna be Jennifer Coffendaver and Nancy Grace. The intern files I'll make them look like Scully. It's not the X-Files. It's the intern files. Ooh, ooh. Oh, I can't wait. With the spotlight up in the air too.
And remember how the girls were attacked because one opened the door and saw who the state contends to be Brian Koberger standing there?
Michael, if I do, listen, she's probably going to shut me down and say that she needs to talk to people with real life. Like, what are you talking about, lady? What are you talking about? I guarantee you I've been around shit you ain't. Guarantee it. Guarantee it. It's shit that I brought up in this case.
And we were all like, well, not us, but others were, well, why didn't she call 911 then? What, seemingly attacking her. Tell me what you've gleaned about these text messages, Sydney.
Nancy, I think these text messages are between two terrified co-eds who don't know what's going on and have been out all night partying, drinking. So unfortunately, they are not sober.
Yeah, and I've already said, I really think that those text messages, if you missed it, go down, scroll your little thumb across, and you'll see when we're talking about the text messages. I think Dylan got home. I think Dylan got home right around 3:51. She might have even added that person in her contact list while she was still in the person's vehicle. Could the person that she added as the contact, the one that I feel was the one that dropped her off, could they have been the one that committed? What did you tell Adam? I told Adam everything. Oh, they're going to get you for it. Guess what? Guess who was friends with Adam too? Huh. Mr. E.
At this point.
Mr. E.
And their house is known to have sometimes strangers in it. They throw parties often. They have a lot of friends. There's 5 people living there. So in terms of having a stranger in the house, that's not super uncommon for them. And even if this person was not somebody they recognized and freaked them out, they might not immediately call 911 not knowing whether or not this is someone who is supposed to be there at that point.
Okay, brace yourselves. Philip Dubé joining me, high-profile lawyer out of LA. What would be the grounds? Okay. Don't exaggerate. No hyper.
Oh man, she's already egging him on. Now don't reach. Don't reach, because I don't want to have to cut you off again. Oh my gosh.
Just tell me.
Oh my gosh.
What could possibly be the grounds the defense will use to try and suppress these text messages, Philip Dubé?
That it violates the rule of completeness. In other words, if you don't have the complete textual context and all you're doing is just providing snippets, perhaps out of context, then what it does is it has a tendency to mislead the jury. So how you cure it is you allow all the text in their entirety to come in so that the jury can read everything in harmony. Otherwise, it has a tendency to mislead the trier of fact. And it's common, not just with text messages. We see it where prosecutors try to admit recorded statements of a
Oh shit. Does Eric G gotta worry that some fucking text messages that his wife just didn't know about are gonna be out there? Oh boy. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
defendant, recorded statements of a victim or of a witness. And in order to have a thorough opportunity to cross-examine on each point, you need everything presented.
Oh, how I would love to try a case against you and have you spout that out in front of a judge, because the remedy for that is to say, fine, we'll play the whole thing. Everybody get comfy, because it's about 2 hours. Here, we're just showing the relevant portion of the text, Dubé. Other texts preceding this are talking about, hey, where are we going to dinner? Where are you tonight? Where are you tonight? Let's go home. Let's order Uber Eats. Do you want noodles or do you want a hamburger?
Exactly my point.
We play the part about the attacks. But sure.
Oh, look at it. He's getting angry now. He's like, you put me in a corner too much tonight, Nancy.
Answer to that is sure. Be careful what you want, my dear, for you will surely get it. The defense wants to hear the whole thing. I'm happy to play it. Would that, yes, no, would that make you happy? Because that is the rule of completeness. In other words, both sides get to see the entire transcript or hear the whole interview or the whole phone call, whether it's relevant or not. Would that placate your completeness objection?
It would cure it. Remember, it's a legal objection. It's not, yeah, of course it would.
So yes, okay.
She's pissy.
Okay, and how old is she? She's 20. Is she breathing? Hello? Is she breathing? No. Okay.
Where's the blood?
Stunningly, while we have seen the defense waffling, skittering back and forth, what will be the defense? Now, believe it or not, the defense has emerged, and it is, I was framed. Listen.
While still fighting to exclude the knife sheath DNA evidence that was identified as Kohberger through investigative genetic genealogy, it appears the defense will now claim that Kohberger was framed, the knife sheath left behind by the real killer to distract detectives. The state points out the defense's potential argument in response to a sealed filing. Prosecutors write that the defense will try to convince a jury that the sheath does not prove Kohberger was ever at the crime scene.
Oh dear, have they latched onto my knife and gun show theory that they would argue that Kohberger had touched the knife or the knife sheath and then someone else, I guess what, was watching him?
Me too. Me too, Caddy, trust me. I would take that cheeseburger even if it had a pickle under the patty.
And left it there to frame him. Framed by who? Let me see that smirky selfie where Kohberger goes all Kim K. I mean, wait a minute. Sydney Sumner, do I see? I'm seeing in this version Is that a window sill? Is that a window frame to the right, or is that a shower curtain, or do we even know?
Nancy, we don't know for certain, but unfortunately,
Is that a window? What does it fucking matter? Oh my God. Obviously it's not, right? It's not. Because if it was a window, you would see the left face, the left part of the face is a little brighter than the right side of the face. It's not a fucking window, Nancy. Come on.
do personally think that is a shower curtain. It's not a flat edge. It's clearly soft, possibly hanging, and I can possibly barely see a little.
Oh my Lord. It's not a freaking shower curtain. You can see the lines between the ceramic tiles right here. You can see the lines for the ceramic tiles. Come
Hair
on.
of a shower curtain ring up in that top right corner.
Sydney Sumner, tell me about the cell phone data that the defense is they're contending it right now, and they're bringing on a so-called expert to do so.
Yeah, Nancy. So what the defense is claiming is that, once again, the state has cherry-picked what data they want to include so that this cell phone data fits their narrative that Kohberger was at this house that night. So FBI agent Nicholas Balance did some kind of analysis, and they're claiming that he willfully chose things that helped the state's case and left out exculpatory evidence, but they don't know because he didn't file a complete report. So the defense is claiming they only sent over a PowerPoint that they plan to use in court, and it doesn't tell me anything about his methodology. So this testimony needs to be blocked.
Todd Shipley joining me, digital cybercrime expert, former detective sergeant, author of a new book. It's amazing. Surviving a cyber attack, securing social media, protecting your home. He's also author of Investigating Internet Crimes, Solving Crimes in Cyberspace. You can find him at darkintel.info. Todd, again, that's all BS, because the defense has access to all of the same data the state has. They can generate their own report instead of saying, exclude all of this because we don't like the state's report. They can do their own report. What are they going on about?
Well, that's exactly right, Nancy. I mean, they could go over the data. If they've got the cell phone tower data, they've got the data from the cell phones, they could be doing the comparison themselves and making a report. That they were just trying to bring somebody in to testify to, make it look like the prosecution witness was not doing the right job. If they did a declaration, they could lay out exactly what they think the facts are. That could be then refuted by the prosecution if it's wrong, but they haven't done that. They're just arguing that they want somebody to testify. So it's kind of silly that they've done this. They could just bring forward the facts and say what's wrong with it. And they haven't done it.
Todd Shipley, you have very carefully reviewed the facts in this case. What do you believe the cell phone data calls? And isn't it true regarding these texts we were just playing, as well as the 911 call, we're going to be able to tell digitally exactly what time the text went down? And
it's like we're watching an episode of The Addams Family, isn't it? Do. What the hell?
The calls.
Do.
Well, exactly. I mean, the digital evidence is going to tell a very compelling story for everybody, for all the people in the house, where they were that night before, the events that occurred at the truck that they had dinner at. All those things are going to be telling a story, including the suspect. His cell phone is going to be telling a story, but it's not all evidence yet. They've just released the pings of where the towers were that the suspect was, and that's damning, and that's why the defense doesn't want to bring it in, because it's telling a story that they don't like, and it's going to tell more of it because there's more of the story. I mean, even your image this morning, the selfie there, that's you're posting, it's going to tell a story. The digital evidence, the metadata in that image is going to tell a story, and all the other things he's done, because I'm sure that he, like so many other suspects, have plotted this out, and there may be evidence from days or weeks before where he went to that house. I don't know that for a fact, but as they go through the phone, they're going to be able to see the story of his life in addition to what the victim's was.
Oh my God.
Joining us now, special guest, Dr. Kendall Crowns.
Thank
He
you all
is
for
the
being
Chief
here.
Medical Examiner, Tarrant County. That's Fort Worth.
Thank you all for being here. Please hit the like if you haven't yet. If you're not subscribed, you're checking out the show, please subscribe. Make sure you hit that noti. We'll be back again tomorrow talking even more about all this wild ass stuff. This is crazy, you guys. This is just, it's getting crazier and crazier. Crazier and crazier.
Texas, an
This is
esteemed
crazy.
lecturer at the...
He's the only normal one. You know what? He looks like the butler. He looks like the butler, don't he? Do 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 do. The butler.
Burnett School of Medicine at TCU. Question: why is it that at first
They're creepy
the girls
and
thought
they're kooky. They're all
that the
together
victims were just
spooky.
passed out? How could that be? They were stabbed multiple times, Dr. Krabs.
The Nancy family.
So depending on where an individual is stabbed, they may not actually bleed outside of their body. They'll bleed internally, usually like with sucking chest wounds. The blood will bleed into your chest cavity. Blood may bleed into the abdominal cavity. So if their wounds were in certain locations, there may not have been any real blood that was outside of the body, and so it wouldn't be soaking into their clothes, and they could look like they were just passed out and laying there. And that would be my best.
Did you not hear what Mammoth said when she first showed up? She said it was messy, bro. Well, analytically, statistically, it could happen to where there's no... But you gotta listen to the statements. So when you're listening to the statements from the investigators that, yes, we know the sun could come up fucking blue tomorrow. There's a 0.000000000000001% chance that it might look a little fucking blue. But guess what? It probably won't. You look at what the people are telling you that were there that investigated it, and if they told you it was messy, well, then by gosh, George, that probably means that the fluid exited all over the fucking place.
Opinion on that.
Oh,
You know,
my
another
Lord.
thing, Dr. Kendall Crowns, I'm coming at this
Oh,
from
my
an evidentiary
Lord.
point of view, have attacked the girls because they say, the witnesses,
Oh,
the
my
survivors,
Lord.
because they say, what, you didn't hear anything? Well, actually, they did hear something. Sydney Sumner,
Right, Norma. Like, remember, like rips and tears? It wasn't like the typical, it was more like rips and tears. What the, like, did anybody listen to, like, this is the craziest shit. It's the craziest shit. No, they don't want somebody on, like me that's going to tell them the damn truth. Come on now. She'd be like, we're going to go to the next person. Thank you. Yeah, I already know. I would love to. Let's have a real conversation. You know what I'm saying? Let's have a real conversation.
investigative reporter, they heard someone moan or cry out. They heard thumping up and down the stairs, correct?
Yeah. At one point, the girls even came out of their room to ask them to be quiet. So at this point, they didn't realize anything was amiss. They thought their roommates had come home and were still being rowdy from their plans earlier that night, and were asking them to stop and to be quiet. They definitely heard some commotion.
You know, Dr. Kendall Crowns, those...
How do you not? Look, my Lord. Dude, they were right above your room and right across from your room, Dylan. Right up above and right the fuck across. How? And Bethany's the one calling you. Bethany was all the way in the basement and she heard something enough to call other people.
Those
Come on now.
attacking the two survivors
Oh.
are screaming. Well, why didn't you hear the victim screaming, and why didn't you call 911 earlier? Dr. Kendall Crowns, in our world, the way we live, for instance, if you hear a gunshot, you may go, oh, who's setting off firecrackers? Because it's not in your realm of understanding. You don't have your arms around the fact somebody could be shot down the street, or you might think it's a car backfiring. I've seen many cases, where witnesses hear something, but they don't realize a murder is occurring. What could the girls have heard?
Oh my Lord, more speculation. And Cotton, that's why it's important for everybody to share this out to your socials. Because yeah, this is the no BS, no spin over here. This is why it's important. This is why people have been fleeing from MSM, because it's nothing but propaganda. At least people on here are going to tell you the damn truth. Why do you think President Trump is freaking asking for YouTubers to apply to be correspondents for the White House reporting? Think about it. Damn straight I applied for that. I'll report the damn truth on politics too. Because I study politics like I study true crime. I got a lot of shit to say politically. I just haven't thought about doing it, but I really am. I mean, it's ridiculous. The biggest hurdle with anything is the truth. And why should it be the biggest hurdle? It should be the biggest shortcut.
So you're right. It's all kind of context. You have to have an idea of what's going on. You may think that something else is occurring when it's actually a murder. What they could have heard is yelling, screaming, things being knocked over.
How do you not?
Bumping around.
How do you
But the
not?
same thing could be heard in people that are drunk or having a good time or jumping around or dancing. You could mistaken that.
Philip Dubé, all arguments between us aside, you're a veteran defense attorney. How will the defense attack Dylan and Bethany for not hearing 4 murders when they clearly did hear something, but they didn't know what they were hearing?
Yeah, that they were out on an all-night bender, that they had been drinking, that they were likely hungover, that their perceptions and their ability to recall were compromised by being impaired from the effects of alcohol. And who knows, maybe if they smoked something, I don't know. But the whole idea of being a reliable witness when you take the oath is that your ability to observe, recall, and to perceive is not compromised by outside intoxicants or other types of interference. And I think if you can establish that maybe at a pretrial hearing, a judge can find that they're incompetent to testify as a witness.
Dr. Bethany Marshall, these
he knows benders. Okay. He knows benders. I've been on some, but man, I don't look like that.
These girls have a tough time ahead on cross-exam, and I hate
Medusa.
what's going to happen. But they've got to take the stand.
Medusa.
Nancy, they have to take the stand, but what I'm concerned about is that they're going to be
Don't look into her
traumatized.
eyes.
They have already gone over that night over and over again in their minds. And when we have post-traumatic stress
Don't look into
disorder,
her eyes.
we have something called flashbacks. I hope some psychologist or somebody is there to prepare these young people to be on the stand, because they will be cruelly resubjected to the same physiological arousal, intrusive thoughts, and anxiety that they had on the night of the murders.
Let me know when she's gone.
I just wish I could take this away from them, but they're going to have to take the stand. We wait as justice unfolds.
Oh, okay.
Contamination of the scene.
Woo. Okay, that's another video. Oh, man. We're going to be back tomorrow night. Trust me, it'll be a little earlier. I apologize for the technical issues and why we had to bump it back so much. But I think everything is working A-okay. So I don't see any reason why we might not. Now, like I said, I'm going to get to work on that edit tomorrow. I am going to be dropping a video tomorrow morning. I think Dylan was dropped off at 3:51. I think the contact that she put in her phone was the person that was dropping her off. And I think there was a reason why she asked somebody if they were still out driving. It's all very interesting. So, yeah. And wouldn't that be interesting? Comes home right before somebody comes in and commits the crime. I want to say thank you all so much. I appreciate you for hanging out. Please, hopefully, have a peaceful, positive evening. Hug the ones that you're close with. Tell them you love them, because you never know. And we'll be back tomorrow. I'm going to try and get that edit out for you. If you're a member, there's some new members only stuff. We got some other stuff coming up for you. And I'll try and get those edits done as quick as I can. And we'll see what comes up for tomorrow. But we're definitely going to be talking some more Idaho 4 tomorrow night. We're going to have Kathy, and I think Audrey's going to come back on too. So we will be back tomorrow night. Normal time, no tech issues. Fingers crossed. I don't know. Who knows what the spirits are going to do tonight. Everything is calmed down now. And the Addams Family episode is done. So I think we're okay. I love you guys. Please be safe. We'll see you tomorrow. Please hit the like and share this out. It helps in more ways than you know. I love you guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Peace. Peace.